Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and I'm back in the studio. And we're doing Tuesday trivia this morning. And I'm very proud to say that Commissioner of Trivia, Adriana, wrote the questions for today's trivia for the most part. I edited them a little bit and added a couple, but for the most part, our trivia today was written by Commissioner of Trivia, Adriana, which is awesome. Of course, we got the regular stuff we'll do on the channel, classic card, straight goods on Canadian goods, Raptors Redditor of the Day, Tempo Redditor of the Day, and also we'll talk about the Toronto Tempo Media Day that happened yesterday and the interviews with the different women of the new expansion team and what we heard at that exciting inaugural media day for the brand new WNBA franchise for the city of Toronto. So, yeah, we got a lot to do today. And wow, this trivia is going to be fun. Y'all going to have to bear with me because I'm going to be jumping from screen to screen to do the questions. So we've got the questions are fantastic. I really appreciate Adriana for putting in that work yesterday and helping me get this organized. So I'll wait a little bit. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the media day a bit right now. That would be a good thing to start with. And then as we get more people in the chat, we'll start the trivia questions because I know I just put the stream up and, there's going to be a certain amount of people here checking in first. So, yes, the Toronto Tempo had their media day yesterday, and it was a long media day. There's a lot of time in between interviews. I felt like because, the women of the team were, getting pretty. They were going into getting makeup and stuff, and they'd come in and they'd all sit down, and there were some really good interviews. I just watched the Marina Mabrey Brittany Sykes interview because it wasn't posted right away yesterday, but they got it posted last night. But very interesting stuff. They are, it's such a weird thing being an inaugural team for the first team ever for Canada because it's very new and it's very historic. And it's kind of funny because they can be aware of how big this is while they're going through it at the same time. And they understand this is historic. This is fun. They get to be a part of history, and they also get a part of shaping the culture for the Toronto Tempo team from the start. And that's really special. Some of the Tempo players spoke yesterday about that responsibility to set the foundation for the culture, the ideals, and the style and the characteristics and the way the Tempo will be who they are. And that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of power in that. A lot of power in that. But yeah, we found out that Mabrey and Sykes have known each other since very early in high school and that they've been rivals for many of these years. It's kind of a similar thing to RJ and Scotty in a way. RJ and Scotty played each other in high school and they were kind of rivals, and they were people that like respected each other, played hard against each other, but they were still competitors and not really on the same team. Sykes let it be known that when she would face Mabrey when they were younger, she was kind of like, oh, no, not Mabrey. Because she's just like very physical and gritty. And some people don't like playing against her. Let's just put it that way. She's got that kind of reputation where it's like you love being on her team, but you don't like playing against her. And Brittany Sykes is very happy to share the first ever $1 million backcourt in the WNBA's history with Cash Money Mabrey. Yeah. Yeah, they're fun. They talk about playing overseas, and playing in Canada isn't that much different than the US, but that's why in some ways some of the issues with players coming for the Raptors from the States won't happen in the WNBA because almost all the WNBA players have to play internationally in the offseason. And if they're going to play in Turkey, they're going to play in Australia, they're going to play in China, they're going to play in Hungary. Well, playing in Canada is a cakewalk as far as an international difference, as far as things, because at least, as they said, there's Amazon Canada and there's all the drugstores to get all the stuff they like to get. So it's not as tough a transition. And in some ways, it seems like the Tempo players are loose and just like not feeling pressure. but they also at the same time understand the responsibilities of being the new team and the leaders for the new team. Yeah, Marina Mabrey went into it's like I've got to find a balance of being a vocal leader and being a leader by example, because saying too much, there is a line. And I think with her personality, she could be very outspoken and maybe not always considerate of people's feelings. So this is probably a line that Mabry has to walk all the time. But in some ways, you know what? We need a hard, gritty leader that's going to be tough on the teammates to hold the standard. So there's definitely going to be a line walked for her as a leader on this team. As far as like, this is how I would do it. Man, the parallels between her and Lowry in some ways are really there. They're really there. We heard Kia Nurse come to the podium for a little while and espouse more on how special and great it is to be an original tempo. You know, she was at a crossroads a couple weeks ago where she was getting ready to figure out the normal schedule for her WNBA career, which is pack up and go to a new city for the season as a free agent signing. You know, last year it was Chicago. Year before that, it was Seattle. You know, the year before that, it was LA. And, you know, she just kind of like, man, in some ways, it's so annoying. And this actually did factor into her decision to sign with the Tempo, was the comforts of home, was just being able to, you know, be with the team here in Toronto and go home and see her family, hang out with her friends. As she said, friend breaks with her friends, watching Netflix and just hanging out have been so holistic and healing for her. And the ability to play at home for the Toronto Tempo this year is something she does not take lightly, because it's fantastic. Also, Kia Nurse has become the travel advisor for all of the other players as far as advice on everything Toronto. You need something in Toronto, Tempo players, Kia Nurse knows your hookup and she can help you get it. And they've been leaning heavy on her for information about our city and our country and how to navigate all the differences between Canada and the United States. So Kia Nurse has been like that. Been like that. That's right. We also have Isabel Harrison got up on the podium, and man, she really did herself up, like very beautiful. And but the thing I gleaned from the interview with Izzy Harrison is that she's Sandri Bondello's Garrett Temple. That's right. She's going to be like that Garrett Temple kind of role on this team. She's going to play more than Garrett, and she's going to be somebody who's going to be very useful as a forward on the team. But the fact that Isabel Harrison played for Sandy Brondello as a rookie in Phoenix, her first year in the league, and then she was on the Liberty with her too in recent years. This is her third stop with Sandy. And Isabel knows Sandy real good. And the vibes I got from the whole thing and how she was describing it is that Izzy is going to kind of be that player confidant for Coach Brondello in the middle of it, the vet who's kind of in the middle of the player group and can report back to her because she's very trusted and been around Sandy for a long time. So that was an interesting thing about that. Harrison's so polished in her interview. She's very, very polished WNBA player with media and answering questions and all that kind of stuff. They did throw a question at Kiki Rice when her interview that could have been a real pitfall. Oh gosh, Richard Deitch of CBC News or Sports, he asked Kiki Rice if there are any players in the WNBA existing right now that she's excited to play against and have to play against. And that is always a trap. That's a trap when they do that. They had Kiki sitting up there with other rookie Tiani Key, and they gave both those two ladies the question. And Kiki is media trained. Let's just put it that way. She very much dodged the question because that is always a dumb question to answer. Don't say any particular player's name because the media will make a big deal out of it and it'll become a mountain out of molehill. But Kiki passed. Richard was looking to trick her and say, oh, is there a player in the WNBA you look forward to playing against? And Kiki was like, there's a lot of players I've watched for a long time, and I won't name any of them. Smart rookie right from the start. Yeah, and Tiani Key, I felt bad for her because, you know, there were very much most of the questions were going towards the first pick, Kiki Rice. But, you know, she got her little spots here and there. In some ways, you should let these women have their spotlight and go in by themselves, but putting them in together in some ways, I felt that wasn't right at some times. It's like let them have their spotlight. I know sometimes it expedites things and makes things faster. Maybe Tiani Key wasn't going to get an interview as a second round pick, and Kiki was like, "No, come on with me, and you can be out there." Yeah, I'm really excited about them. They seem like both of them will be very helpful to the tempo this year. Tiani Key is a great young project for a woman of size to help the tempo with her long limbs, and she is going to be something. And I think that she's going to be very exciting to see how she progresses under Coach Brondello. And as I said before, Kiki Rice has all the shades of the leadership of Jamal Shed as a rookie coming in right now. And that she got that question about being a leader at the UCLA and being a national champion this year. And how do you balance coming into a new environment of being on the tempo in the WNBA and being a natural leader with kind of following and listening to the veterans that are on the team that have been in the league for like 10 years already. And well, Kiki's going to do that balance, but she also made it very clear, even if you don't have experience in the WNBA, you could be a good leader already coming in. So she's going to be very similar to Jamal Shed in that way as a rookie, as a floor general, and somebody who's going to be a leader on the team, even though she's a. So expect that from Kiki Rice. Yeah, we'll talk more about the Toronto Tempo Media Day after the trivia. I see we got people in here now. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading your comments. Please stop your comments because we're going to do the trivia very soon after this. But yeah, it's awesome. Adriana saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Who's ready for trivia? Yeah, she's got a special interest in this because, as I said, Adriana wrote the trivia for today, and I just edited it a little bit and ordered it up for it. And she's very proud of it. I think it's very good. She did such a good job, guys. Really, really good job writing these questions. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy trivia day. I'm ready. Girl power. Yeah, I think you've got an advantage in this. Our trivia leader for this season, Fiercey, really has a good advantage of a lead, but also with girl power. Girl power will get her something in this game because Adriana is not only the person who wrote the question, she's the judge. And there it is, girl power, right? Reciprocated right back. Fiercey saying, being fortunate enough to be picked up in free agency and live elsewhere is a blessing, but staying near to home is gold. Yeah, I feel so good for Kia Nurse. It really was the kind of thing like, well, if I just sign with the tempo, I don't have to pack anything. It was really part of it. They asked her too yesterday, is being an analyst for TSN and for the Raptors going to help you with your career, like with your WNBA career? And she said, well, when I do the show with Leo and Kate, it's really kind of just fun because I can be a fan and kind of get out of my professional mindset in the WNBA and just kind of analyze the NBA and the Raptors. So she talked about that a little bit yesterday. Yeah, Kia had a long interview. And she did not want to have her smart water bottles in front of her, giving an advertisement to them. She took them down before she started the interview. And then she said, you can have these back at the end of the interview. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, Seymour said the positive vibes, baby. Positive vibes for the Raptors at the arena with the fans for the energy to help get the wins in these last two home games. And positive vibes at Toronto Tempo Media Day yesterday, the first ever media day for our inaugural Canadian WNBA team. I love it. Neil is here. Good morning, Neil. Good to see you guys. Like seeing me in the studio again, guys. Haven't been out here in a while. It's the winter. I don't come out here. Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Free. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. And I hope you're enjoying your WNBA fantasy team so far. We're going to get this ready. Free agency is open. So go and check if you guys can pick up some players off the waiver wire. Because you have injured players, you can put in your injured reserve. So, yeah, good. Always good to see Kaz in the chat, ready to play some trivia. That's right. Trevor J is here with his commissioner of fun. He's got his words of wisdom real quick. He's saying, you may not be where you want to be yet, but one day God is still working and feels what feels slow to you, but still can be still full of purpose, progress, and unseen favor. Yeah, just keep going. That's the thing. You'll get breakthroughs. You do it the right way. You practice the right way. You'll get breakthroughs. And especially in basketball, in the WNBA and the NBA. You practice hard, you put up the shots, you put in the hours, you put in the time. Failure will come, but so will success. That is right. Seymour saying this. Wash your damn hands, y'all. Ethics is essential. And Smooth said Detroit down 3-1. Yeah, we'll do the news and stuff like that after the trivia, guys. After the trivia. Yeah. Yeah. It's looking like things, once again, just like in 2019, that things are working out for the Raptors in the path to get further in the playoffs. We'll just have to see how it is. I mean, we get magic in the next round, we get past Cavs. Well, we could be in the Eastern Conference Finals. A path is starting to open up. We're going to figure this out. Jimmy said, just wait until we start hitting our threes. Yeah, let's see if Grady can wake up and get some sort of hero ball going on, coming out there. That's right. Detroit looks completely shook. It's interesting because, I'd said a criticism of all year. And my criticism of the Detroit Pistons from last offseason going into the season, even though they had the best record in the East, is that they traded or lost too many of their vets from last year, and they're going to miss them in the playoffs. And those are people like Dennis Schroeder, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, all these older guys that were on the team, they missed them this playoff. And I'm telling you, that's a big part of why Detroit's losing. All right, guys, no more comments, y'all. I want to do the trivia, so stop. Jimmy, that's the last comment, the Jacoby comment, because I want to read through, and then we're going to start the trivia, because we are doing trivia today, guys. Okay, let's see. Seymour saying Jalen Green sent home yesterday. Kate is next. Then Edwin. We're keeping that going. The Edwin Mosley. Yeah. This is interesting. I want to talk about these series after the trivia, guys. I will talk about the sweep of Phoenix after the trivia, guys. Stargate saying Kia's the Tempo's RJ. Yeah, I made that connection too. I was like, she's the heart and soul. She's going to play her ass off. Hopefully she'll have a renaissance resurgence in her career. She's had a few years that haven't been that great. Maybe she'll have a lot of good things happen for her on the Tempo because she's playing for her country just like RJ does. Yeah, that could be something different with Kia Nurse and the way she moves. A lot of people are already not very thrilled with her being on the team because they don't think that she's a very good player at this point. But we don't know. She could actually play very different when she's playing for the Canadian team. That's right. Yeah, my voice hasn't gotten better. It's worse today. It's worse today. Yeah, y'all stop, y'all. Stop the questions, Cass. See, seriously, I can't do this no more because I want to get to the trivia quick. I don't know if Adriana can be with us for the whole stream. Well, hopefully she can. Jimmy's saying, as long as we keep up that defensive energy, go steal the game in Cleveland and come back and win 6-6. That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's funny. Orlando kind of copied us last night in their game against Detroit. They had a similar game and a similar score and a similar shooting percentage. And everybody's, I guess that's the beautiful game now is the bad shooting, high intensity defense, crazy 90s basketball is back, baby. I love it. They always say trends come back every once in a while. Well, 90s grit basketball is back, baby. It's so good, man. It's so good. Yeah, Trevor, the Phoenix got swept. We'll talk about it afterwards. Let's see. Jimmy said Jacoby is not going to keep missing. I can tell you that. I agree with that. I think Jacoby Walter will start hitting a shot soon. And Kaz is saying, Lex, do you know if Tiani Key has any relation to Tyreek Key? No, they don't. I did research this because I thought so too. There was a post by Tiani Key with the Key jersey in the Tempo gear, and Tyreek commented in it and said, I want that jersey. And I was like, whoa, do they know each other? And I did heavy research, and they are not related. They come from different states. It's just they have the same last name. So Tyreek and Tiani are not related, just so y'all know. Yeah, that's all right. Adrian said, I will try. And she's saying, my bad, didn't see you were doing trivia. It's all good, Jimmy. None of y'all knew exactly. We'll go ahead and start now. We've got some people in here. And yeah, no problem with the info. I was curious too, because I saw him reach out to Tiani and say, hey, I want that jersey because his last name's Key. And but I looked into it. She's kind of from one state and he's from like Tennessee. And like he went to Tennessee, she went to Kentucky. If they are related, it's like second, third cousin. But I don't think they are. There's nothing online that says that they have any family connection. They just share the same last name. It's that thing right there. All right, let's get into it. Today's trivia is inspired by the fantastic crowd and the culture of the Toronto Raptors that we are Raptors freaks, and the rest of the Toronto nation, as far as Raptors nation and our energy and what we do at games. So get ready for Raptors crowd trivia. Let's go. As written by Commissioner of Trivia, Adriana. First question, guys, and Raptors crowd trivia. This is going to be 200 points per question. I'm going to be flipping back and forth between the questions. So, yeah, the first question is, what is the capacity in the Scotiabank Arena for a Raptors game? What is the official capacity for the arena for a Raptors game? How many people we fit in there? Yeah, how many people? 19,200 is close. It's too low. It is too low. 65,000 people. Are you talking about the dome? 1,000, Nako? Come on now. Come on, man. 20,000. Nope. Fiercey got it. It's 19,800. And right before Slug Deezy and right before Kaz with 19,600. But it's actually 19,800 is the answer. So Fiercey Salsera gets the first points. I got to mark it on here instead of writing it in because it's on the computer. So please bear with me as I score it as we go. That's right. So 19,800 is the official capacity of Scotiabank Arena for a Raptors setup. It's different for the Leafs. It's different for other events. But for our team, when they're on the court, it's 19,800. That's right. Second question, guys. Raptors crowd trivia. Guys, what is Nav Bhatia's Raptors ticket budget for an entire season? How much money does Nav spend on his courtside seats along with all the other seats that he buys for the season for people from the community that he likes to bring to the game, like DeMar DeRozan and Marina Mabrey? 1.7 million a year on Raptors tickets. Wow, Seymour. That's a lot right there. 125,000, Cass. That's more reasonable. $4,000 a year. Nako, you're low balling today with 1,000 and 4,000. 4,000? You think that he can sit in that seat all year long for 4,000 total? Come on now. Nah, Fiercey got it. Now, Fiercey, I know you're fast fingers and I know you're really perfect, but I can tell you're running to get these. I know you can. I can tell. It is $300,000 every single season. Superfan Nav spends $300,000 on Raptors tickets for himself and for the people around him in his section. Most of the people in that section are coming on his ticket, and he's bringing them in. Yeah, $300K is what he spends a year on Raptors tickets, guys. That's crazy. Fiercey got it again. Eye Candy is on a roll, y'all. So yeah, FS is what I'm putting on here for when I see that she got it. Yeah, it's 300,000. You thought it would be higher? Yeah, I mean, still, that's no chump change, right? I mean, do we have $300,000 to spend on Raptors and stuff like that too? I mean, on Raptors tickets, that's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. 100,000, 70,000, 65,000. Nope, 300,000 a year is what Nav. And Adriana did the research on this question. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And, like I said, Nav's bringing kids from the community that would never get a chance to go to the game. He's bringing special cases. He's around people and he says, "Oh, I would like to take you to the Raptors game," because he's like, "You deserve it. You're a great person." And he brings them down. Marina Mabrey, come here. I want to take you to the Raptors game. Okay, I'm coming. All right, next question. Question number 3 in Raptors crowd trivia. What was the date the first Raptors game was played in the Scotiabank Arena? What was the date? I want the exact date. And Lex knows I got it because I worked that day, because I was at the first Raptors game in Scotiabank Arena as a food and beverage staff and Mr. Sub Maker. And I remember that day very clearly because that was a special day for me, working my first one there. Yeah, Slug Deezy knows it. Wow. Did you know that off the top of your head, Slug Deezy? Because that's impressive. Yeah, February 21st, 1999 is the first game the Raptors ever played in the arena, in the Scotiabank Arena, a.k.a. Air Canada Center at that time. Yeah, and Lex was there. I actually worked before that at the arena for a Rolling Stones concert. That was the first event they ever had in Scotiabank Arena. And I was one of the initial hires. When they had the move from Maple Leaf Gardens to Scotiabank, they hired a lot of new people. And this guy was one of those new hires. So I got to work at Maple Leaf Gardens a couple of times in training. But the first event I ever worked at Scotiabank Arena was Rolling Stones. And I got to see Mick Jagger and Keith Richards at the Rolling Stones concert. And then a couple days later, they had the Leafs game on February 20th, 1999. And then they had the Raptors game on February 21st. And February 21st is right. Slug Deezy gets that part. There's another part of this question, though, for another 200 points. Can you name which NBA team the Raptors played in that first game? I want city and team name. I want the full answer. Don't give me a half-ass answer. You know what I mean when I say that. You better give me the city and the team name. That's right. You were outside for that first Raptors game in the arena. That's awesome, Slug Deezy. That's right. Fiercey knows it was the Vancouver Grizzlies. Of course, before they had moved to Memphis, they were still in Vancouver at that time. And of course, the first ever game we played in our arena was against the Vancouver Grizzlies. So Fiercey's going to get that one. New York Knicks, New Jersey Nets. No, it's going to be Slug Deezy getting the first half of this question. And then Fiercey's going to get the other half. All right, guys, question number 4. I hope you're enjoying Raptors Freak Crowd Trivia. And, well, thank Adriana for the great question. Seriously. All right, y'all, here's the question number 4. Who is a regular national anthem singer for the Raptors games? This guy probably does the anthem the most for the Raptors games in the history of the Raptors. I've seen this guy do all the time. He ends up for the big games too. So if you can name the full name answer of the go-to national anthem singer for Scotiabank Arena for both Leafs and Raptors games. And yeah, if you know this, you're a deep cut Raptor freak because you know the inside stuff. Drake is not right. When have you ever heard Drake get up there and say, "Yo, Canada, I'm Drake and I am here sitting on some ice. I'm gonna drink a beer"? No. That's not who we are talking about here. That's right. That's not right. You got the name all crazy, but I'm gonna give it to you because I know what you were thinking here, Slug Deezy. Doug Tranquada. It's Doug Tranquada. Tranquada with a Q in there. So if you put the Tranquada, you get it. But I'm gonna give it to Slug Deezy. It is Doug Tranquada is the singer. Louis Armstrong. Come on now, Nako. You're like a little you're too small in this arena in this game. I'm gonna do the too small to Gerald. Too small, Gerald. Too small. Too small. Yes, Doug Tranquada. Slug Deezy knows he's deep cut trivia here. This is cool. The King of the Classic card is in the arena today with Fiercey, going for these crowd questions. I love it. Louis Armstrong, what are you doing? Whoa, when I see skies of blue, clouds of white, dog, that's the day the Raptors won tonight, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, let's go. Raptors are 2-2 with Cleveland, and we're coming to get y'all. We're going to let y'all know tomorrow night. That's right. Cardinal Official. No, that's a good guess. That's very Toronto of you, Fiercey. Very, very Toronto. Yeah, Trevor's saying, so are you going to bring back Louis Armstrong from the dead? Because I did that impression just now. You heard that, eh? That's pretty good, huh? I love Louis Armstrong. There's no disrespect in that. All of my imitations are homage out of respect and love for the personalities that I do, other than this one. Oh, did I ruin your weekend? Sorry, Masai. Yeah, other than that one. That one's not done in respect. All right, let's keep going. All right, we are on question number 5, y'all. Let's see the real ones with this one, y'all. What section of the Scotiabank Arena was the Sprite Zone? Who remembers the Sprite Zone? That's right. What section of the arena was Sprite Zone? Yeah, you know your real one if you went to a Raptors game on Sprite Zone tickets. Oh, yeah, you know you're a real one if you went to the ticket on the Sprite Zone. That's right. Section 33. Once again, Gerald, too small. Too small, Gerald. Too small. 33. Is there a section 33 in the arena? Section 51, Area 51. That's where it was in the 300 section, Fiercey. 300, yes, it was in the 300 section. Section B? Section B? What is this? This is not, these aren't sections in the Air Canada Center / Scotiabank Arena. You guys, this is for people who go to the games. They're going to know these questions. So, because it's the crowd questions. That's right. 317 is right. Kaz got it. Section 317 was the hotbed of the Sprite Zone against the wall. $10 tickets, baby. What a time it was. $10 tickets in the Sprite Zone up in the corner. That's right. The real ones were up there. It got rowdy, and loudy in those arena seats up there. Yeah, for sure. 317 is right. 307 is also an acceptable answer because they did the Sprite Zone on the other side too also. But I'm going to give it to Trucker Cass on this one. 317 is right. Yeah, I used to love sitting up there. You know, they discontinued the Sprite Zone in 2017, right before we got into the very heavy playoff stuff. It's too bad. Yeah, $10 tickets was the Sprite Zone, Fiercey. It was amazing. What a time. Oh, what a time. They had it pretty much from the start of the arena in 99 up until 2017. So they got about 20 years of Sprite Zone. And then it went away, of course. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, Eye Candy's killing it. Yeah, she's doing all right. She's got a lot of them. Good to see you, Stargate. All right, let's see. Next question, guys. Number 6. What is Strizzy's name? We know Strizzy. Strizzy does the announcement of the players at the beginning. RJ Barrett, Scotty, it's your boy, Scotty, the Austrian Hammer, Jacopato. That's right. Smooth saying too high for me, man. Too high. Yeah, $10 is too high. Oh my gosh, Reggie. Mark Strong is right. Stargate got it. The Strizzy's real name is Mark Strong. So we getting a new name on the score here, and it's gonna be Stargate this time with the SG. I'll put it on there. Yeah, Mark Strong is Strizzy's real name. That's right. Strong. Mark Strong. Strizzy Strong. That's right. Yeah, he's becoming a Raptors icon like Herbie. That's right. Mark Strizzy is an important part of the Raptors fan experience with his great opening introductions. Yeah, really, really good. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, guys, what year did the fans start organically coming out to Jurassic Park to watch the games? This is way before anybody in MLSC knew they were doing this. When did we start? I was down there. What year did we start coming down there and standing out in the elements with no organization and just standing there as a crowd out in that street, watching that arena TV on the side of the Scotiabank Arena in Jurassic Park? When was the year Jurassic Park started? Yeah, what was the year it started? And it's not what the year it was built, because the year it was built, it did not start then because the Raptors weren't in the playoffs that year. So it wasn't until there was a playoff fever and people felt enticed to come down there and stand outside the arena to watch them play is when it started. All right, let's see. Oh, it started. You guys put in some things. There's an actor of the same name, Mark Strong. Yeah, Trevor hit live. Yep. Seymour saying 2002. That's way too early. 2015, Nako is close. 2009 is too early. 2014 is right. Slug Deezy got it. It was the year of 2014 the Jurassic Park evolved and began. Yeah, and it was an organic thing. It was nothing that anybody else, like in the arena, the people in MLSC did not start it. They did not come up with it. The fans organically started coming down there, and they created Jurassic Park. And now they've railroaded it into this stupid tailgate party thing they call it now, with all the dumb booths and stuff. It was in some ways much more charming and real when the fans just showed up, didn't have to buy tickets or stand behind barricades, and they were just out there standing in the street. And as I said, at the peak of that Jurassic Park, they estimate that there were like 10,000 people in the street out there, all the way down the whole street, going all the way down to Skydome, watching Raptors games out there. So yeah, I will give this point to Slug Deezy. It's 2014 is the year that they started. We started it. I was out there. I'm one of the people that started it. All right, let's go. Next question. Question number 8. What halftime performer rides a unicycle and tosses bowls onto her head? What halftime performer rides a unicycle and tosses bowls onto her head. Yeah, this is a good one right here. Yeah, if you know, you know. This is the thing. You got to be in the crowd to know these fantastic things. You got to be at the game. You don't see this on TV. Some of these questions. It's about the Raptors crowd. That's right. Kim Lynn. That's not right. That's not right. Olga. Too small, Gerald. Too small. I'm just gonna make that a gag today. I'm sorry. There'll be callbacks, Gerald. Too small, Gerald. Too small. The name is too small. You got to write the whole name out. It's two names. Olga is just one name, one part of a name. It's half-assed. No, we need the whole name of the halftime performer, the iconic, legendary halftime performer that rides the unicycle and throws the bowls up on top of her head. I'm sure a lot of y'all seen that halftime show. You just got to figure out what her name is, right? Yeah, she's amazing. She's up there in age at this point. And it's amazing she still keeps going. She did the first Raptors game of this playoff series at halftime in Cleveland. She was the halftime show. Yeah, Olga Nestorova. That's not right. That's not right. This is not who I'm talking about. No, this is not who I'm talking about. Famously, this halftime performer tore their ACL and was out for a year. And ESPN actually reported it on their website. And they kept track of her and her recovery. And then when she came back and took the halftime shows again, they made a big deal out of it. That's right. Slug Deezy knows that's Red Panda, y'all. It's Red Panda is her name. And Slug Deezy's on it. That's right. Slug Deezy, a king of classic card, is being the king of the trivia right now. And I love it. There you go. There you go. Slug Deezy getting Red Panda. Red Panda. Yeah, Panda lady. Panda friend. Meta World Peace. Panda friend. Yeah, this is what we're talking about here. Panda friend. All right, let's see. Caitlin Clark gave her props when she was injured. Yeah, she's a legend. I mean, you have to watch her show. Like, you can tell she's older. Like, she's in my age bracket, probably older than me. Seriously. And the physical ability to do that balance and kick the bowls up on her head. Oh, my gosh. This is amazing work Red Panda does. Seriously, entertaining the crowd. That's right. I could have made a question about the Simon Says guy. But I was like, nah, don't make a question about Simon Says. That guy's a jabroni. Yeah. All right, let's keep going, guys. Question number 9. Raptors crowd trivia. How many fans were there at Jurassic Park West one night during the 2019 NBA Finals? Y'all heard about Jurassic Park West? They set up viewing parties out in Mississauga in a parking lot to watch the Raptors finals games in 2019. What was the height of the crowd? What was the biggest crowd that they had out there for that, man? Yeah, Shaq Lindsay saying, I don't know what's worse, having a record for losses in the season or being eliminated in the 8th seeded playoffs. We're doing trivia, Shaq Lindsay. I ain't on this right now. Shaq Lindsay's Stargate saying 6,000. That's too low, man. At least one. Nako. Okay, too small. Too small. Now you're playing into it right there. 30,000. Trevor, that's a good guess, but it's too high. Sphercy's got it. The biggest crowd they had at Jurassic Park West during the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors in 2019 at its peak was estimated to be 20,000 people out in a parking lot watching the Raptors game like it was a drive-through. Yeah, they all had their cars parked out there, and they're sitting on their hoods, and they had the game on a huge screen in a big, huge parking lot out in Mississauga. So, yeah, 20,000 is the right answer. I'm giving it to Fiercy. Fiercy got that answer. That's right. 20,000 people at Jurassic Park West in Mississauga. All right, let's go. Next question, y'all. Question number 10. We're moving right along. It's good to see you guys know your Raptors trivia there. Red Panda's 55 years old. Fact check by Adriana. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. She makes my age bracket look good. That's right. Fiercely saying drive-through. Awesome vibes it must have been. Well, you got to think about this, that, it was beautiful weather at this time of the year, right? By the finals, it's almost June. So it was really nice to sit outside and watch Raptors in a huge group outside like that. It was a big party. That was a real tailgate, Keith Pelly. The Jurassic Park West was a true tailgate. This one you're doing at the arena is not a tailgate. I'm sorry. Seymour saying, my brain is cooked. Whoa, bro. Put up some shots and reset. That's right. Girl power and salute to Red Panda. That's right. Red Panda, girl power. Girl power, Red Panda. That's right. All right, let's keep going. All right, question number 10, guys. What did Mariah Amber recently do to help the Toronto Tempo out? Mariah Amber, of course, is the in-game host with Mark Strizzy. And what did she do to help the Tempo out in recent weeks? What did Mariah Amber do to help the Tempo? The Toronto Tempo, the brand new expansion team. We know the great Mariah Amber is a all-star of the NBA who goes to All-Star Weekend as one of the best in arena hosts in the whole entire league because she's such an all-star. She gets called to All-Star game to do it there out of all the 30 teams. Our announcer gets called to All-Star Weekend to do the job. Mariah Amber. What did she do as a job for the Tempo recently? What was the thing she did to help them out in association with them? That's right. TikTok? What's that mean? TikTok? Nope. It ain't the crocodile from Peter Pan. No, it's not. No TikTok. No. What does even TikTok got to do? Guest judge. Okay. All right. You're getting there. Flesh it out a little bit more, Fiercey. Flesh it out a little bit more. I need a little bit more than that. Guest judge in what way? In what way? For the dancing team. Yes, that's it right there. That's what I wanted. Yes, Mariah Amber came to the tryouts for the Toronto Tempo dance team, and she sat on the panel like Paula Abdul and watched them do their thing, and she helped judge them and help them select the team for the Toronto Tempo dance team for their new team. So yeah, that's what it is. You saw her on TikTok. Yeah. But yeah, she was a judge to help decide the dance team. That's what she did. So Fiercey's getting that one. Let me just put the FS on here. I'm doing it by initials, and I'll add it all up afterwards and tell you guys who won the trivia for the day. And I'll put the trivia standings in the comments afterwards so you can see where you are in the whole season of it. All right, question number 11 has 2 parts, so be ready. What is the Raptor known for doing with a television? What is the Raptor known for doing with a television at the game? Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Raptor, the mascot, our guy, our buddy. Yeah, what is the Raptor known for doing with a television at the game? Yeah, this is always a funny bit when this happens. Yeah, there's highlights of this. You probably see the highlight reels of this happening over and over again. It's a signature move for him. He drops it. Exactly. He drops it. He smashes it. Yeah. He often will be bringing it down the row to the fan as a prize, and he'll drop it out of the box and it'll smash on the concrete steps. Yeah. And it's so funny when he does that. He'll be like, here's a TV for you. And then he falls and he drops it and it smashes on there. Adriana, I want a ruling. We'll go ahead and give it to Fiercey for he dropped it. Smash it, drop it, same thing. He dropped it. I mean, Slug Deezy's right there, but I think that Fiercey got the correct answer with he dropped it. I think that's right because he did. He drops those TVs, and I'm sure Ed Rogers is real thrilled. That's what I would say. He's real thrilled with that. Yeah, we can't have this TV budget anymore, Keith. Why the hell we keep going through TVs like this? It's the Raptor, Ed Rogers. It's the Raptor. He's doing this. Oh, take it, Raptor. Stop destroying TVs on my dime. Okay, Fiercey. All right, cool. All right. The second part of this question. Yeah, probably refurbished TV. It's a prop. It's not a real TV. It's probably just stupid. It's fun. It's fun. It's what it is. Yeah. I'm just trying to be goofy with an improv off of that. I think it'd be funny if Ed Rogers is that cheap that he gets mad that the Raptors smashes TVs when he's taking them down the path and the arena. That's hilarious. Yeah, girl power. Shaking my head. I mean, technically, she got in there before you, and that the answer is either we were going to accept either one of those 2 verbs, drop or smash. Those were the 2 verbs we had agreed on yesterday. Seymour saying, I heard Rogers is cutting its budget by 50%, cutting jobs by 50%, 25,000 employees. Yeah, that's the style of all these asshole oligarch billionaires right now, is to cut everybody's job. And, well, they don't give a shit about anybody at this point. So the masses will rise. The masses will rise because these idiots are going to be like, let them eat cake. We know how this goes in history in the past. That's right. Stargate saying he got out in time, got out of Rogers. Yeah, they're going to replace everybody with AI and automation. And you'll call the cable company and you won't get a human being. You won't get a human being. You won't be able to talk to anybody about any issue you have with Rodgers. It'll all be computers. All right. The second part of question number 11 with the Raptor is this: what is the Raptor known for giving to a young fan? What is the Raptor known for giving to a young fan in the middle of the game? Yeah, these clips have happened pretty regularly in recent years where the Raptor gives something to a fan in the crowd during a giveaway, usually in the middle of the game. Yeah, you can elaborate, Trevor. I'm going to give that to you, but I want to hear a little bit more about it because that's right. It is the popcorn is the answer. But I want a little bit more than just that, Trevor. What about the popcorn? What is it about the popcorn? No, not teddy bear. Like, what is it about that popcorn that like give it an adjective? What is it about the popcorn that he gives to the kid? What is it usually about in the popcorn? You can give me a couple of different adjectives, and I'll give it to you. This is, in some ways, I said this is right. I'm gonna give it to you. The best popcorn ever? No, that's not what it is. Trevor, what is it about the popcorn that the Raptor gives to the kid? I want one adjective for that popcorn bag. Kernels? No, Fiercey, you can't get this, so don't help him. He's got to get it himself right now. The caramel popcorn? No, Trevor. I'm going to leave this open to other people if you don't get it right now. I think it's ranked number 3 in the league. No, what is it about that bag of popcorn that he drops in the lap of the kid? What is it about it that's not normal? Let's just put it that way. That's what I want to know. If you can't get this part, I mean, I'm going to give you the answer, but I just want it fleshed out so that you can say this. Like, what is it about that popcorn that's so comical or funny about why he gives it to the fans? It's covered in butter? No, that's not it. They're not doing that to kids. They're not sliming them like Slimer and Ghostbusters and saying, here, kid, here's popcorn covered in butter. Now you're covered in butter. No, they ain't doing that to kids. They get people mad. That's right, Trevor. That's what I wanted. It's too big. It's a giant bag that's ridiculously comically big. It's way too big. They drop it in the kid's lap and you don't see the kid no more because the bag is bigger than the kid. That's it right there. Trevor got it. He got it finally. That's all I wanted. It's a giant bag of popcorn. A giant bag of popcorn. Trevor getting it. I love this. Trevor J got the popcorn question. Love it. Commissioner of fun. Having some fun today. That's right. Yeah. It's hilarious when he does this. They're like giving tickets to people, like somebody said, tickets and stuff like that. Then Trevor, the Raptor comes down and he drops a huge bag of popcorn in the kid's lap. Some of those kids love it. They're like, Dad, we're taking this home. No, son, we're going to throw it out in the dumpster on the way out. No, Dad, we're taking it home. This is my popcorn. The Raptor gave it to me and I'm going to eat it all. Okay, son, but you're going to have to eat it over days and it might get stale. I don't care. It's my popcorn. It's my memory. I love the Raptor for giving me popcorn. Okay. I don't know how it's going to fit in the car, but we'll figure it out. You know, it's something like that, right? Confetti popcorn. Yeah, it's a lot of popcorn. And it's funny when he does that. Yeah, it's real funny. All right, next question. Let's keep moving. Question number 12. How many people in Canada, on average, watched the 2019 Raptors Championship Finals on television? What was the average viewing audience for the finals games across Canada in the number? Yeah, what do you guys think the average viewing audience of our finals games was in the great country of Canada, the true north, strong and free? Yeah, what was our average audience number? 250,000. That's way too low, Seymour. Come on now. You don't think people were watching the finals for the Raptors and seeing them trying to beat the Warriors? Come on now. 20 million is way too high. Is way too high. So we got something in between 250,000 and 20 million. 5 million is too low. Is too low. 2.5 million is too low. The average audience for the games, 10 million is too high, guys. You're getting there. 850,000 is too low. 5 million is too low. 8 million is too high. 8 million is too high. So we've got a little window here between 5 and 8. 7 is too low. I do want a point with it. 7 point what is what I would say. So it's between 7 and 8 million. 7 point what? 9 million is too high. 6.5 is too low. 7.5 is too low. Is too low. 7.7 is right. Seymour's getting it. 7.7 million people in Canada on average tuned in to the 6 games of the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors with the Raptors. That was the average amount of Canadians watching those games across our country. 7.7 million each game. Yeah, that's right. Seymour got it. Seymour's getting on the board with the championship audience question. So Seymour Pape, you're on there, bro. That's right. Yeah, sure. All right, guys, here we go. This is question number 13, and there's 5 answers. So get in there and get one of them. All right. Let's see who can get this. Name any of the 5 Raptors dance groups that dance at the game in the breaks. Name any of the 5 dance groups, like the groups that dance at the games. That's right, 7.7. Yeah, you got one, Seymour. You're good. It was UNICEF too. Thanks. Yeah, tricks. Okay, that's half the answer. You're half-assing me. Fiercey. That is one of the answers, but that's only half the answer. Tricks are for kids, Fiercey. Come on now. Stargate will get Northside Crew. That's right. Northside Crew is the official dance group right now, and Stargate will get that one as the first one. Yep. Northside Crew is the first one. Yeah, Northside Crew. You guys all got that one. That's the official dance group right now. But there's other dance groups for our team, and there's 4 more. The Dance Pack. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do Raptors Dance Pack as one of them. The Dance Pack is actually retired. Raptors Dance Pack was from before. It was the all-female group that we had before Northside Crew. Slug Deezy will get that one. But yeah, they're actually come back as alumni, and the Raptors Dance Pack will do alumni dances still to this day. Every once in a while, they reunion and come back, and they'll do it here. Little Ballas. Yeah, Fiercey, Little Ballas. That's right. That is one of the teams. The Little Ballas, the little kids that come out there. We love the Little Ballas. The Little Ballas. That's right. The Four Corners. No, Slug Deezy. That is our DJ. Four Corners. 6 tricks. Yes, finally, Fiercey. You circle back and you got it right there. It is 6 tricks. Now, there's one more team left that y'all didn't answer, and it is Adriana's favorite dance team in the Raptors arena. The dance team that she likes is the older team. And if you know the answer for the older dance pack that comes out there, you got the Little Ballers. Well, what's the other end of the spectrum? Those kids are awesome. Yeah, the Little Ballers are awesome. Those little kids can do the flips, and they're doing like head spins and stuff. The little kids. Yeah. The Little Ballers are very talented. Very, very talented dance team. But what is the opposite of the Little Ballers? Maybe the elderly or senior dance team. That is the other answer we need right now. If you know the answer to that, that's the thing. In some ways, they don't use the internet, so you probably can't find any information on them on the internet. This may be something y'all need to know off the top of your head. Seriously. Because I look for their name online, and this nowhere online. I just know it from before because I just know it from watching the games. So what is that dance team called? The senior dance team. The OGs? That's pretty interesting. No, OGs in New York now. It is not the OGs. That's right. That's a good guess, though. Northern Classics. That's right. It's like Deezy got it. Northern Classics is the name of our senior dance pack. And it's fun to see them come out there and do it. Fiercey, you're just behind Slug Deezy. Guy Power, Slug Deezy. Guy Power. Sorry, I had to do that a little bit right there. I had to do just to show equality here. Guy Power. All right, good job. You guys got all 5 of the dance packs. I love it. Good job. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's go. Adriana went, Adriana went, she doesn't like that, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's see, guys. All right, this is a fantastic question, and this will blow you away. All right, question number 14. What percentage of Canada's population was at the Raptors championship parade in 2019? What percentage of our population? Yeah, Fiercey's all about equality. There you go. Guy power, girl power. That's right. What percentage of Canada's entire population attended the Raptors championship parade? 1.5% Stargate? That's too low. It was more of a percentage than that. 32% Fiercey? That's too high. We didn't have a third of the country there. No, 8%'s right. Seymour got it. How'd you know that, Seymour? 8% of the whole entire Canadian population attended The Raptors championship parade. Can y'all believe that? Seriously, 8% of our population was at that parade, y'all. I was one of them. I was there. You can count me in. That's right. I'm sure some of y'all were there too. Yeah, Seymour Pape, you're back on the board again, my guy. 8% is the answer. 8% of the, it was about roughly 3 million people, guys, is what they estimate were at our championship parade. And Slug Deezy was there. There you go. Yeah, it was 8%, y'all. You did the math. Man, you're a rocket scientist. You need to be not in the warehouse, my guy. You need to go get a new job. If you got the math done like that quick, he's like 8%. I'm like, whoa, Joe. Whoa. That's amazing, man. It's like he's Rain Man. Let's take this man to Las Vegas. He's putting the numbers through fast. That's right. You just did the math. That's amazing. That is amazing, man. That's a gift. That's right. All right. 3 more questions, guys. 3 more questions. Question number 15. How many years has Four Corners been the official DJ for the Raptors? How many years has Four Corners been spinning that music for us at the arena, getting the crowd all lively? Yeah. How many years? Yeah. Yeah. 21 years, Cass. That's close. It's very close. Slug's always outside. Slug's always outside. He's close. Yeah, I was out. Yeah, he was down there at the arena. He's watching. That's right. 22 years. That's close too, but the wrong way. That's the wrong way. Yeah, 24 years. No, it's not right, Seymour. But you guys, I'm glad y'all are giving him good time. 18. It's not it. 20 is right. 20 is right. In fact, he just had they did a ceremony for him at one of the games near the end of the season where Mark Strizzy and Mariah Amber brought over a big framed piece of art that said 20 years of Four Corners. And they handed it to him in the middle of the game. And he was so honored. He was just like, he was beaming. So he started in 2006. And it's 20 years that Four Corners has been our DJ. And they celebrated that at the end of the season just now. So 20 years is the right answer. 20 years. Yeah, Fiercey's getting this one. Yeah, that was pretty cool to see Four Corners get that honor. And man, that's something. He started in 2006 with the Raptors, and he's still there, still spinning it. That's right. We love our Four Corners, the great DJ of the Toronto Raptors. That's right. 20 years is the answer. All right, let's go. A couple more questions, and we're going to be done. And we'll talk about Raptors and tempo stuff. All right, guys, this is a tough one, and we'll have to see. And this one I kind of estimated and figured it out. Guys, what sections of the arena does the Raptors 2019 championship banner hang over? There's 2 sections of the arena where the championship banner is actually hanging above those 2 sections. Can you name the sections? It's a little bit, it's like kind of close to the end line too, but technically it's in these 2 sections. And it's a tough question. Yeah, it's a tough question. Yeah, milestone, 20 years is a long time to be doing that. 302, that's too high up. It's not over the 300 level. Think about where the banners hang. So it's going to be over 100 level sections because the 300 level is to the sides and off. It's like, where would the championship banner be hanging right over something? 302 is not right. 302 is not right. Yeah, it's going to be a downstairs. 105 is a good guess. It's not right. It's not right. This actually, here's a good clue. It's the section that Adriana and I like to sit in, and we've been sitting in all year. We actually sit in the section where the championship banner hangs over us. So, yeah, 112 is close. You guys are very close with 112, but it's not right. It's not right. There's 2 sections I'll take the answer for. 106 isn't right. It's kind of interesting because this section is the old section I used to work in for Mr. Sub way back in the day with Stevie Roots when I was making subs at the Leaf game and stuff. Nobody's right yet. 118 is not right. 102 is not right. 117 is not right. None of those are right. 112 is the closest so far. 116 is not right. 115 is not right. 115 is pretty close. Yeah, you guys are zeroing in on it here. 110 is not right. Yeah. The internet lied. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you can't check the internet because I did this from my own beliefs. All right, Seymour got one of the sections. 114 is where I sit, and that is one of the sections. The other section is the one next to it, so it's pretty easy to figure out here. Kaz is getting the other sections. 113. So the championship banner hangs over the front rows of 113 and 114, sections 113 and 114. I used to work at section 113 for Mr. Sub in the concourse. And we've been sitting in 114 this year where our seats were. We sat in 114 on Sunday for game 4. So, yeah, 113 and 114 are the answers. We're going to give 200 points to Seymour and 200 points to Cass, getting those 2 sections. So let me mark that down. Seymour Pate and Cass, Trucker Cass, getting that point. All right, this is going to be the last question for our Raptor Freak crowd trivia, guys. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned something today, something about the power of the Raptors crowd in our nation. 20,000 people out in Mississauga, 8% of the population at the parade, 7.7 million watching the finals games. Yeah. Technically, it's hanging over the 600 level. Yeah, nobody sits up in the 600 level. The 600 level would be like the press gondola. And that's not over that. I'm talking about it's hanging in the middle of the arena, in the center of the arena. And if anything, it's hanging kind of over the goal, the basketball goal that's near the Raptors bench, and just a little bit into the crowd, kind of past where Scotty's little baby and baby mama sit, into those sections. And those are 113 and 114. That's technically where the 2019 Raptors championship banner is. That's technically where it is. It's not over. There's no 600 level. The 600 level is what? The catwalk up in the arena where they drop the parachutes from. 600 level, what is that? The Foster Hewitt press gondola? I don't know, man. But that's all to the sides. That's all to the sides. It's hanging over the ground, the floor. Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, last question, guys. All right, guys, what is the name of the dancing toddler that went viral? I only want the first name. What is the name of that little kid? He was at the game, at game 4 again on Sunday. And I was like, man, that kid is so awesome. I wanted to leave the last question with the future of Raptors crowds. Of course, the future is epitomized by the dancing toddler, this phenom, this viral sensation from this season. He really just became famous this season. But yeah, what is the name of that kid? Like, what is the first name of the little kid that has become famous this year? Yeah, Fiercey's got it. Is Damien. Damien is his name. That's right. That's right. Fiercey saw Sarah end in the trivia with getting the last one also. Damien is the name of that little kid. And he makes me proud. He makes me so proud to know the future of Raptors fandom is in good hands with the young, stylish moves of the kid with the toque on, Damien, the dancing toddler kid. Yeah, he's awesome. So, yeah, how do you guys think Adriana did with writing the questions this week? She did a pretty good job. I helped in some ways, but she really did the framework of most of it, did the legwork, did the research, and she did a fantastic job. I just kind of reordered it and maybe added a couple questions myself. But, man, she did a really good job. I'm really proud of her, honestly. It's not easy to write trivia. And she did a really good job for her first time doing it. So she'll probably do some trivia again later in the future. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Raptor Freak crowd trivia. That's right. That's what we were doing today. That's right. That's right. Good job editing. Thank you. You're welcome, Adriana, with his Scotty jersey. That's right. Yeah, that little kid is so cute, man. And Cass, thank you. Thank you. Nice job, both of you. All right, let's get back to things. We're open for NBA talk. We're open for Toronto Tempo Media Day talk. Yesterday in the media day, a lot of the Tempo players showed up. And at one point they had 2 Australians and a Lithuanian on the podium. And it was Laura Juicy, and Madison Roque and Christy Wallace. And I got the feeling from Madison that she's the young Australian player that's a point guard. In some ways, she has shades of Sandy Brondello. A young Sandy Brondello is a little point guard. That she's really only here for training camp and just to kind of get the experience of a WNBA training camp, but she's not realistically making this team. That it kind of got dropped at the press conference in the way she said something that, this has been a great experience. And I'm really happy I got to do this, is kind of what she said. So I'm expecting Madison to get cut, but that means hopefully we'll have her rights or something. And maybe it's just she'll come over, get the experience, because she had never left Australia until coming for this training camp. She never left her country for any reason. So it could very well be Coach Brondello was like, I want to give this young Australian player a chance to broaden her horizons, get a little taste of the WNBA in a training camp, and come over to Canada and train with us this week. So that for Madison Roque may be the experience, is just to come over and broaden horizons, get out of the country of Australia, and come and get WNBA training. So yeah, Christy Wallace came off as a very much a pro and a long time kind of veteran of the WNBA and Australian basketball, and she espoused deeply on how much they love Sandy and that they really trust her. And this is something I realized from training camp and the media day yesterday, is the ties between a lot of the players and Sandy Brondello have been established from way before in all kinds of different ways. Whether it's Madison and Christy being on Team Australia with Sandy as their coach, or Isabel Harrison, Niara Sabali, and other players that are on our team that have been coached by Sandy in other places already. There's a lot of ties that bind already and allow this Tempo team to have instant chemistry and an instant rapport of working between the coach and them, which is really smart strategy considering the runway that we're getting to take off into the season is very short, with not a lot of time for training camp or orientation. So you fast track it by bringing in known commodities and known quantities of players that are already familiar with Coach Sandy. So yeah, Christy Wallace is one of those players. And it seems like Christy might be hanging around and maybe being on this team for the season. Laura Yusi is, less likely to make the team. We'll have to see. Seems like she was just really happy to get an experience around the WNBA and come over and broaden her horizons also, coming over from Europe. But she's a sightseer. She loves taking pictures, and she's been walking all over Toronto, taking pictures of the tower and going all over the place and just being a tourist is what she said. Yeah, let's see what y'all are saying here in the chat. I'll get back to more of the media day notes that I have from what I saw yesterday. Yeah, let's see. Wow, Adriana, do it more often. Great research and questions. Yeah, she did a good job. She did a really good job. Stargate saying this. Okay, so fans are not happy Cooper won Rookie of the Year and Khan got robbed. They're saying Cooper is just being shoved down our throats by the NBA. I love that. There's some truth to that in some ways. There's some truth to that. Is it Charlotte fans that are rising up and getting mad? Yeah, it's an NBA media marketing machine, and they pushed Cooper Flag on us. That's absolutely true. There's no lies here. No lies here. I wasn't surprised. They came out with the Rookie of the Year announcement yesterday, and it was very close, honestly. It was not as close as Scotty and Edwin Mosley's vote. It wasn't as close as the vote with Scotty and Edwin, but it was one of the closer Rookie of the Year votes in the history of Rookie Year voting. So yeah, no surprise. We knew this was going to happen. In some ways, the case the NBA will make is the 50-point games that he got this year. I mean, he got 50 twice this year, right? Didn't he? At two different times during the season, he put a 50 spot down. So that's probably the main thing that they're going to point to, even though Khan was more successful. Khan made the most threes and, all this other stuff. But, I think that it hurt Khan Knippel the way the Hornets flamed out at the end of the season because they had such good momentum coming up in the ranks of the Eastern Conference to try and get to the play-in spot and get to that point. But they fizzled out near the end of the season and didn't do anything in the play-in to earn it. And, well, I'll blame the LaMelo Ball. Why not? Let's just blame him blindly. Let's blame him blindly. That's right. Let's see. Slugdeezy saying good job to Adriana. And she says, I love trivia. Thank you. Yeah, she is a trivia head. Her and I love to play trivia just in our spare time. Like we'll find trivia quizzes online that other people wrote and we'll ask each other stuff. Like I like doing it with Adriana, like with she loves stuff like Friends and Sex in the City and Dirty Dancing, the movie. And I'll find trivia on that. And I am astounded. Just like the way I know the Toronto Raptors, she knows the show Friends. Like she knows questions about relatives of characters on Friends and the pets and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, she got like 100% right on this Friends trivia quiz. Meanwhile, she's doing trivia towards me with classic wrestling. And I'm answering questions with Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and the Road Warriors and Hulk Hogan. And I do perfect on those. That's the funny thing. I kick butt on the wrestling trivia, the classic wrestling trivia. It's really fun. But yeah, we're trivia heads. We love playing trivia. And we go to trivia nights, and we're kind of sharks. You shouldn't play trivia with Lex and Adriana. Trust me. We would come in there like sharks because in some ways I have areas of expertise that she doesn't have, and vice versa. So, it's back and back. We got stuff covered one way or another. Let's just put it that way. Trevor's saying this. All the players are saying Sandy is a player's coach. Yeah, she totally is. They asked Christy, is there a difference between Sandy coaching Australia and Sandy coaching the Tempo? And she's like, yeah, there is. There is a difference. There's a different energy. Some of it is they let it be known that Sandy has vernacular that is not common around the league. And some of the players that are familiar with being coached by her know her terms because her terms are kind of weird mix of Australian kind of terms with basketball. And so some of the players that played under her do understand what she's saying, but some of the newer players have to get translation from the players that have played under her already. Now, it's also revealed at Media Day, it sounds like Coach Sandy's coaching style is going to be similar to Darko's. They brought up the 0.5 offense and also a very, very trapping, crazy defense. So I think that the Tempo style of play may be similar to our Raptors guys, as far as they're just going to be very aggressive on defense, and they're going to be moving the ball on offense. So there was a little bit of a tip of the hat right there with that. It's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Trevor's saying those $1 million players are the best friends from the same area. Yeah, they're Jersey girls. They are Jersey girls. They are epitome of Jersey girls. They got edge. They're not perfect. They got style. They got a Jersey style. Marina is a certain kind of attitude, and so is Sykes. Sykes is a certain kind of attitude. And like I said, they didn't get along at first. They've been playing against each other in their area in New Jersey as adversaries first. And it was really kind of the thing, like Brittany said, it's like, oh, damn, I got to play against Marina today. It was that kind of feeling because she knew that Marina is a top competitor who has a lot of grit, who's going to bring it to her. And it's going to be a real battle if they're playing against each other. So Slim Sykes was very, very effusive in saying, I'm glad she's on my team now, is what she's been saying. But yeah, it's fun. I love that synergy. And they have the same agent. So there's a lot of different bonds. And it always was kind of like, yeah, we're competing. We don't like each other when we're playing against each other, but I respect you too. And that's easy to change into friendship and camaraderie when you do become teammates, especially if you respect somebody for how they play already before you get to play with them. We got to hear from Temi Fagbenle and the very seasoned center forward of WNBA. Very interesting to hear her perspective on being original Tempo. She understands this part of history, that a lot of these women do not take this lightly, that they're going to get to be called original Tempo players. And Temi's interesting because she has a lot of feet in other continents and different places. Of course, she has very deep roots in Nigeria, and she's a very strong representative for the continent of Africa. And she went on a bit in her interview about the connection with Masai, that, she's done the Giants of Africa stuff with Masai already. And she's familiar with Masai because she's been one of the WNBA players that's participated. And that's really important part for her and her way that she moves in the WNBA, because she feels like she's a representative for Nigeria and Africa. And it's very important to her to put that out there. But she has OG vibes like crazy, because you hear her list talk and she's British accent because she does have ties to UK and living there. So she's a very intercontinental kind of person. Of course, she has a lot of ties to the United States also from playing in the WNBA. And well, now she'll have ties to Canada. So very, very international person, Temi. And she was very effusive and very proud and happy to find really good quality Nigerian food in Toronto immediately when she came here. She said, oh my God, she went on about the food is so good here. I'm so happy to get tastes of home here in Canada for around Tempo. So yeah, it was really nice to hear from Temi. And she's an interesting player because she's an older player. And in some ways, she had a very interesting thing she said. She said she's a very strong believer in this too shall pass. And she knows everything is temporary. And in some ways, she's alluding that she may not be on the tempo forever, but that's the way her career in the WNBA has been. She's been a journeywoman who goes from team to team in certain ways. And well, she's going to soak up being an original tempo and play for us. But who knows what's going to happen in the years to come. But yeah, she's just happy to be here. And she really does add another dimension of international flavor to our team. Most of the tempo players were very proud of the international group that's together. In fact, they talked about how much fun it is to kind of learn about each other's cultures from having such a multinational team group. It's very, very cool. We heard from Niara Sabali. She was actually the first person I saw take the podium, and she talked a lot about how she feels like she has a leg up in this training camp and with the team because of her close work with Coach Sandy and Olaf Lang. That the work that they've already started in Liberty in the years past, because she's been coaching her since she started in the league as a rookie, Niara Sabali, and she's like a project for Coach Sandy. So it's really nice that we got her in the expansion draft so that her connection with Olaf and Sandy can continue, and there's a lot of trust there. Once again, it's a good sign that Sandy Brondello is advocating to Monica Wright Rogers to select some of her former players from New York Liberty to come to Tempo, because these are character people that are probably great to have. It's not like Sandy would be asking for people she didn't like working with on the Liberty, right? So Harrison and Sabali are like this. And in some ways, Niara Sabali is the big project for them to increase, to get better and better between the wife and husband team of Sandy and Olaf. So it's interesting too, because she's a leader on the team, because in some ways she understands the two coaches better than most of the other women. And she can be very helpful to some of the other players in understanding what Sandy means. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of good expedited instruction with familiarity from Bonds from before this expansion draft and assembling this team here. And then we need it. Honestly, they're going to play a game tomorrow, a preseason game tomorrow, and they've all been only playing together for 10 days now. Like it's a crazy thing to throw a team together this quickly and expect them to go out and play against established franchises in a league already. And well, we'll just have to see how it goes. Seriously, Connecticut Sun, we'll see you tomorrow at the Coca-Cola Coliseum for the first ever Toronto Tempo game, a preseason game, albeit. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. Yeah, it's fun, man. Stargate loves the trivia as well. Yeah, I enjoy doing it. And well, we're gonna probably get to do trivia more often in the summer because WNBA takes Mondays off. And if there's a Monday and a Tuesday off for the team, and I'm not doing a preview for them on a Tuesday night, well, we're gonna do Tuesday trivia on Tuesdays. And we will get these chances this summer. As the WNBA schedule is lighter than the NBA schedule. They don't play as often, and they're not as dense with the games and back-to-backs and all this stuff like they do to the NBA. So there will be more chances to have off-season stream content like our Raptor Freak Trivia on Tuesdays. Yeah, Smooth saying this. For me, it's different when you've never been out of the country. I was traveling from a childhood age, fortunate to have had those experiences. Yeah, this is important. I know in my family, I was fortunate enough to get to travel too, and it broadened my horizons. And my brother, in raising his kids, has very much valued this also. He's taken his children to a lot of different places just to keep them more worldly and out of like a mindset of just being stuck in the United States and only thinking like people around where they live. It's important to broaden people's horizons and go other places and see other cultures and other locations and understand that what you do in your place isn't the only way to do things, and that you need to be able to be accepting of different kind of people and different kind of things that they do, and that's a great way to do that. But yeah, sometimes people just don't get the opportunity for whatever reason, and then they do. Tiani Key came to Canada. It's the first time she left the United States, coming to our country for this. Man, she seems like a great young woman. I really think she's a great prospect for us as far as her ability to possibly be a very good long-term Toronto Tempo player. Tiani Key. She just seems like she's got the right frame and a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Yeah. A lot of potential. Let's see. That's great that you got that, Reggie. Man, that's a that in some ways I'm so grateful that for that kind of stuff too. Like you. It makes you more worldly. It makes you a little bit more have a more global perspective. Fiercely saying this, someone raised a good point. Wemby got the rookie of the year title and was on a losing team. Yeah, that happens. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just that, to do that, you have to be a very, very above and beyond kind of player. In this situation, I mean, I'm with Stargate. I'll slag on Cooper and say he's not as special as they all say he is. I'm still with that. Wemby is. I mean, you can't do his height and skill set is just insane. So it makes more sense that Wemby would win it on a losing team than Cooper Flag. At least it does to me in some ways. The other thing is a lot of these postseason awards, any of them, most of the time you're giving them to people that are on winning teams, but that isn't always the case. It isn't always the case. That's right. Stargate saying, I know Star Wars trivia. Yeah, Star Wars trivia would be good to do. We'll get you versus Carl Lane. We'll have a Stargate versus the ref, Carl Lane, and some Star Wars trivia. He might beat you, though, because he's really knows his Star Wars, right? But I know you do, too. That might be an interesting thing to see. Star Wars trivia with Stargate and Carl Lane. Fiercey's laughing at Stargate for that. Slugged Easy saying, which wrestler used to throw the toothpick in people's faces? Well, there's that would be Scott Hall. That would be Scott Hall used to do that. He would have it in his mouth and he'd be like doing his Scarface impression, which was hilarious because he came to Vince McMahon. He said, oh, hey, Vince, I want to do this to character. And he's like this and this. He describes him. Vince had never seen Scarface with Al Pacino. And he thought that Scott Hall had made up the idea for Razor Ramon off the top of his head. And he was like, this is genius, Scott. How did you get this idea? This is amazing. And he's got, I just, I don't know. And then like Vince is like, you're a freaking genius, Scott Hall. And he's like, he didn't know about the movie Scarface. And then he just totally ripped off Al Pacino and Tony Montana to make the character Ramon. So yeah, that's it right there, Slug Easy. Yeah, and give me some trivia. I'll give you a story after that. Yeah, Vince is such a dumbass, man. Kaloy saying this, morning, everyone. I think there is an argument that Scotty is top 3 player producing right now in the entire playoffs. Well, the stats show this. I've seen some efficiency tables for the playoffs, and in the top 10, Scotty and RJ are there. Like they are both two of the top 10 most efficient players in the NBA playoffs right now. Yeah, and I think Scotty was third on that rank. So yeah, it's not an argument. I've seen the stats in a table somewhere. Trevor J saying, do not know if it's a coach of Kiki that she will be the rookie of the year for a tempo. Do not know if it's a coach of Kiki that she will be the rookie of the year for tempo. What does that mean? All right. Are you saying that you think Kiki could win rookie of the year for the league? That's not likely. I'm going to say that right now because there are very high profile rookies in this class. Lauren Betts is going to get a lot of attention because she's probably going to be a huge force in this league right away for the Mystics. Miles for the Lynx is going to be a very powerful player right from the start. And of course, the first pick, Fudd, who they're already talking about her and Becker's relationship. And Paige at Media Day said very clear, I don't want to talk about how her and I are together or any aspect of our relationship. We're going to kill it right now. If you have questions about that, just keep them to yourself. Understand that we're going to keep things professional and personal separate. If there are issues between the two of us, we will not let it manifest on the court, is basically what Paige said. So, I mean, that's the thing. We'd like to think this. We're very, for our team, Toronto Raptors, Toronto Temple. We want awards for Colin and Shed and Mamu and Scotty and Kiki. But is this realistic? I don't think it is. Because part of the reason why is because the positional chart for the Tempo is very heavy with guards. And in some ways, there's going to be I could see Kiki Rice being the backup point guard and not getting to start necessarily. We'll have to see. It may have to do with Julie Alamong. It may have to do with Brittany Sykes. It may have to do with these other women that are more learned in the WNBA and them being higher in the hierarchy for the season. whether Kiki Rice is actually going to be getting the time, the stats, and the notoriety to be in the rookie race. She could win it. I'm not saying she couldn't, but I'm just saying from my first perspective, without knowing anything about the tempo on the court yet, the log jam on our roster at guard and the fact that most of our talented players are at guard means that Kiki Rice may have people in her way from getting a lot of minutes and getting the huge numbers to get rookie of the year, is what I would say. Yeah, Fiercely saying this. It's really may be very similar to Shed this year. I'm telling you, it may be very similar to Shed. She's the backup point guard. She's a heady backup. She does amazing things. She's very ahead, but she's not necessarily one of the premier rookies because she comes off the bench. So we'll have to see, Trevor. She may be starting, and I'm completely wrong. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Fiercely saying this, Colin Murray-Boyles had the highest field goal percentage for a rookie in the playoffs. Yep. That's not surprising considering the types of shots he's taking. Seriously. Kaloy saying Colin is my rookie of the year playoff edition. You know, it was kind of annoying that he wasn't even on the top 5 for rookies. I mean, in some ways it looks bad with the way he's performing in the playoffs. He's the best rookie in the playoffs right now, but he didn't get a vote for it's like Cedric Coward and VJ Edgecombe were like 3 and 4. And I'm like, well, where's any votes for Colin? Seriously. He better be on the first team all rookie, though. That's what I'm saying. Y'all need to look at what's happening right now, voters, and give Colin first team all rookie because he's one of the top 5 rookies in this class at this point. You can't look at what happened on Sunday or on Friday, and you can't tell me that Colin Murray-Boyles isn't one of the top 5 rookies in this league this year. Seriously, you'd be crazy if it's not like that. Seriously, you'd be crazy. That's right. That's right. Reggie's answered the question. The person that threw the toothpick was Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon. That's right. Rest in peace, Scott Hall. He had a long career way before he became Razor Ramon. I saw Scott Hall wrestle in Tallahassee in like 1986, and he was in Florida wrestling, and he was big Scott Hall, and he was a cowboy, and he was with a Magnum PI mustache, and he was a good guy. He was not a heel. He was a good guy. He was a face. He came out and he beat up the bad guys. Yeah, but I saw him in person in Tallahassee at the Leon County Civic Center in championship wrestling from Florida in like 1986. It was the first time I saw Scott Hall wrestle. Yeah, and he was in the AWA a lot in that time. He was famously paired up with Kurt Hennig, and it was Hennig and Hall in the AWA, and he was a good guy at that time still. So yeah, he's had some different evolutions and times in his career where you go from Razor Ramon all the way to NWO Scott Hall and the Wolfpack and all that kind of stuff, right? Seymour saying this, Colin and Dylan Harper are my 2 favorite rookies, late blooming, but better now than ever. Yeah, Dylan Harper's been a fantastic rookie for the Spurs, and I want to give a lot of credit to Keldon Johnson for winning Most Improved Player of the Year. That's a fantastic person to win it. And, the Spurs had a really good year this year, and I'm glad they're getting some accolades for some of their players. Yeah, Keldon Johnson was a starter. He got relegated to the bench, and, well, it's paid off for him this year. It's really paid off for him this year. Reggie saying life imitated art for him. Terrible way to pass. Well, Scott Hall had a lot of tragedy in his life. You know that he killed a man in Florida once. Yeah, he was a bouncer at a strip club, and somebody was a little rowdy, and somebody was a problem, and well, they fought, and he accidentally killed the guy. Like he hit him or something, and he died. And nobody really talks about this that much. That Hall was bothered by this, and that fed his drinking. Is that because he had that weight of killing a man accidentally in an altercation as a bouncer at a strip club? It tormented him for the rest of his life because the thing is, Scott Hall is a weird guy. He can be portrayed a certain way on TV, and sure, the clique was assholes. They treated everybody bad in the locker room. The other wrestlers, like Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall, were jerks, and they really hurt people's careers. But there was a side to Scott that was like a teddy bear and was a very good friend and was a very caring and considerate person also. And that tortured him that he killed that man for the rest of his life. And that fed his drug abuse. Let's just put it that way. That's part of it. Yeah, yeah, he was very depressed, and when he got fired from the WWF the last time before he died, that plane ride from hell was the reason why. And if you know the documentary, if you've seen the Dark Side of the Ring episode about the plane ride from hell, you'll understand exactly why he got fired and just how bad he was in it at that point. Really, really crazy shit. Really crazy shit. Yeah, let's see. All right, keep going. Fiercely saying, Lex, there will be NBA trivia ending with the playoffs, then WNBA trivia in the summertime. I mixed it up. I did a WNBA trivia last time we did trivia. Be any rhyme or reason. It's not going to be like I'm only doing WNBA trivia in the summer and I'm only doing Raptors trivia in the NBA season. No, there's no rules to this. It'll really be what inspires me at that time to make a trivia on. This was a great inspiration. The crowd of the Raptors this weekend was amazing. And so I was like, we got to do a trivia on the crowd. So that's kind of how I get the ideas. So it's really what inspires me. If there's something going on with the tempo in the middle of the NBA season, I will do a tempo trivia in the middle of the NBA season and vice versa. So don't make any hard, fast rule on that for sure. Yeah. Stargate saying WWFE trivia. Lex, who did Papa Shango's makeup? Who did his makeup? I want a couple guesses. It's another wrestler, right? It's another wrestler. I want to first. I would guess Dustin Runnels that Goldust did his makeup. If I'm right, tell me. The second person I would say that maybe did it, but this is probably not right, is Mark Calloway. Would be the Undertaker. So I don't know which one is it. It's one of those two guys. I'm pretty sure. I'll see what your answer is down the way. Yeah, because I know Charles Wright was friends with him with Mark. They were like best friends. Fiercely saying, I appreciated Paige B addressing her relationship and emphasizing on their professionalism and privacy. Also, to recognize as he deserved being picked first, and that the media questions should focus on that. Yeah, that was another part of it, is that they were trying to say that she got picked first because of Paige and getting on the same team with the first pick. And Paige wanted to make sure very clear that no, she made this team pick on her own merit, and this has nothing to do with me. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Cass saying Keldon won six man. Yeah, yeah, and Nickel won most improved. That's right. Keldon Johnson won six man, and Nickel won most improved. That's right. Yeah, I said that the wrong way, didn't I? Yeah, six man was Keldon. Did I say most improved for Keldon? Yeah, that I said that wrong. Slug Deezy saying, how strong do you have to be to give the razor's edge to a man that weighs over 250 pounds? You know, it's a weird move. In some ways, it's not totally about your arm strength, it's your back strength, because the way you lift them is with your shoulders and your back. And you're really kind of, it's such a dangerous move, too, in some ways. You really got to do it the right way, or you can hurt somebody bad with their neck. And so if you look at the way he picks them up, he picks them up like a pile driver and brings them up over his head, and then he holds them out like this and then brings them back down like that. Yeah, he's a strong guy. Scott Hall was a very strong guy, and you know, you got to remember also he's like a 6'6" guy too. So he's a big, big dude, big dude. Jerry Lawler did the makeup for Papa Shango. Interesting. It's interesting that it was the King, Jerry Lawler, that did that. I did not know that trivia. You stumped me on that one, Stargate, but that kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. Fiercely saying, okay, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, a great media day yesterday. I'm going to try and think of some more of the groups that I saw up on the podium. At one point, we saw Liz Belungan and Dara Mabry and Lexi Held on the podium, and that was fun. It was really nice to see Lexi show up. She's kind of like the equivalent of Grady Dick on the team. Hopefully, she'll shoot way better than Grady, but she's kind of a 3-point specialist kind of player. And she just got in town 3 days ago, so I guess she arrived around Saturday or Friday. Missed a lot of training camp because she was still playing in Hungary for her European team. But she did get over, and she did show up for media day, and she seems very excited. She's very well spoken. I like Lexi Held. She was a rookie last year for Phoenix Mercury and doesn't really have a whole lot of WNBA experience, but she carries herself very professionally. And I was very impressed with her at the media day. Now, Dara and Liz, I'm not totally sure what's guaranteed for them. They could very well be cuts. in the training camp. I don't know. Liz Belungan is a very strong guard from Nigeria. She's a guard. In some ways, she's built like a forward. And she said, I'm going to do whatever I can to help this team, whether it's to set screens or try and make shots. So it sounds like she's like a big guard who's like good at setting screens for other players and stuff. But I don't know. In some ways, I wonder about her chances of making the team, and that maybe she's just here for the training camp experience, because these are both players that have never played in the WNBA, Dara Mabry and Liz Belungan. So, and if I'm saying her last name wrong, I apologize. But yeah, Dara went in detail about her injury that happened to her that kind of sidetracked her whole entire NBA career. She was taking a certain a birth control or something. I'm not sure what she was taking, but she developed a blood clot in her leg, and it was life threatening, and it totally was messing with her career. So she had to take time off, and it kind of took away from her development and her entry into the WNBA. So in some ways, Marina's sister is just very grateful to have a second chance to try and make it to the WNBA. But also, once again, she's given kind of vibes that she's not guaranteed, that she could be one of the cuts. And that in some ways, Dara Mabry is at training camp partly as a favor to her sister, but also to her, just to make it fun. It's way more fun. As Dara said, I haven't seen Marina in 8 months because I'm an international player and she's busy in her places. And we were reunited by the tempo because of this training camp. And we really are appreciative of it. Because, if you're professional basketball players, you're not always in the same places and you're far away. Savannah Hamilton asked her questions about having a sister playing basketball and all that stuff. Because, of course, Savannah's twin, Oceana, plays overseas, and she can totally relate to the Mabry sisters being separated because of their professional careers. So, yeah, I get the feeling that Dara, I don't know, there's a lot of murmurs around tempo spaces that Dara's going to be on the developmental spot with Tiani Key, because that would make smart. You make Key one of the developmental spots. That's the extra 2 spots, like the two ways above the 12-person roster for a WNBA roster. So it could very well be Dara's in that second developmental spot somehow, some way, and making it more fun for Marina as the season goes on. Yeah, it could be very interesting. Trevor's saying lots of teams have to cut lots of players. Phoenix has to cut 10 players, and the Aces 0 cuts. Yeah, Trevor's got a nice graphic on our Discord server right now, illustrating all the numbers of cuts that each team has to make. And I believe the Tempo have to make 5 cuts on that thing that you posted. It said 5 cuts out of all the people that are coming there, which is, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to do. Who else did we see on the podium yesterday? I'm trying to remember all the different interviews I watched yesterday. They had quite a few, and it was really fun to see the different personalities and kind of hear their excitement about playing for Canada's first ever WNBA team. But yeah, Kia Nurse stood out. Her press conference was very long, talking a lot about what it means to her and just how special it is. I mean, she really is kind of in a zone of just giddy happiness in a lot of ways. And I think that the Tempo players overall have been really impressed with how much they're getting recognized around Toronto, how much love is pouring out towards them. As Syke said, it's like these fans have never seen us play. We haven't even done anything on the court, and they're giving it forward. They're giving us all the love and the passion already, and we haven't even done nothing for them yet. They're going places, and people are calling them out by name. And this is not totally common with WNBA players. You got to understand this. They can be in anonymity to a degree, but they're finding they can't here in Canada, because people are that excited about the Tempo coming. They're recognizing them, and they're saying hi to them on the street. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, let me go check on my tabs and see what else I got to talk about here today. All right, let's do the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the Day. Our Redditor of the Day for Toronto Tempo is BBXOXO. And, well, it's already started, guys. We haven't even played a game yet. And the shading and disrespect of the Toronto franchise in the WNBA has begun, y'all. There's recently a post of a graphic on one of the major sports channels that covers the NBA of the Raptors logo being the Thunder's logo in red and white. They had the Cavs logo right, but for some reason, the Raptors logo was the Thunder's logo. And these may be uh, stupid mistakes by dumb people that work in television and network graphics, but in some ways, this happens all too often, commonly with us, that I feel like this is an underground shading movement to disrespect us by putting the wrong name up or putting the wrong graphic up for the Raptors logo. We see it in so many different places, in dumb places all the time, that I feel like this is just a purposeful shade. So it can't be this many people are this stupid and just in this specific thing with the Toronto Raptors, right? It can't be like that, right? Why don't they mess up the other teams in the States more often like this? That's what I'm saying. They're doing it on purpose. Well, they've done it to the tempo already. There's a graphic up. I guess it was on a preseason game from one of the WNBA games recently. And they are hyping up the Friday game, the Lynx versus Toronto, and they're calling us the Pulse. They have named us the Toronto Pulse on the WNBA broadcast already, misnaming our team, and they called it Minnesota Lynx versus Toronto Pulse on Friday. So it's already begun. They haven't even played a game, and there's media companies shading our WNBA franchise by disrespecting them, by naming them incorrectly, or putting the wrong logo up for the Raptors recently with the Oklahoma City logo instead. Yeah, this is what happens. They're already doing it. BBXOXO, thank you for being the Redditor of the day for the tempo. And everybody's thinking like they think that this is just like a goofy mess up. Some of them are making jokes that it's CP24 Pulse or something like that, City Pulse. Either way, I'm not totally sure if this is accidental, guys. This is part of their bullshit that they do. Just so you know, Stargate knows what I'm talking about. That's right. Let's see if there's breaking news going on in the Tempo or Raptors world. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Kurthika is saying this last night in Blue Skies. There is a universe where the 5 seed Raptors host the 8 seed Magic in the second round. That looks like that could be a possibility, depending on how game 5 goes tomorrow. Well, it could very well be that. The Magic are 1 win away from eliminating the number 1 seed, Detroit Pistons. And, well, we would get the winner of that series if we get past Cleveland. And, well, we handled Orlando pretty good this year. It's a very winnable matchup if we do get there. And guess what, y'all? That means an Eastern Conference Finals trip for the Raptors somehow, some way. That's amazing to me, honestly. So I love the queen of stats, Kurthika of TSN, and her information is always on point. Let's go ahead and do the straight goods on Canadian goods real quick right now. Y'all, 2-for-1 pizza. It's a cheap pizza location, but it is truly Canadian. And I want to put them on blast today. Since setting up their first shop in Toronto in 1986, 2-for-1 Pizza has expanded across the country, becoming a leading pizza brand in Canada. 2-for-1 Pizza provides their customers with great pizza delivery and pizza takeout to fit any lifestyle. We are already serving customers in over 60 locations across Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Newfoundland, and Labrador, and continue to grow. So yeah, if you guys want the straight goods on Canadian goods, go get some Canadian pizza from 2-for-1 Pizza. It's not the most expensive. It's not the most great, but it fits that niche. If you want that pizza and you want to support Canada. So 2-for-1 Pizza is my straight goods on Canadian goods this morning. That's right. Moving right along, we will talk about the sweep of the Suns last night. And we have the Raptors Redder of the day for this one. It's in Undunei again. And this is a quote from SGA after sweeping the Suns last night. This is what it says. Such maturity from the Canadian GOAT. That's what it says. Canada basketball. SGA is quoted after the game last night on Dylan Brooks. He's a great competitor, a great guy, no matter what people say about him. He's a really good guy when you get to know him. All that villain stuff don't faze me. I know who Dylan is. He had a heck of a series. Keep getting better. I'm proud of him. That's what SGA said after defeating Dylan Brooks and the Phoenix Suns last night. That's a great leader for Team Canada. And that is the Raptors Reddit of the day. In Undunei is the Raptors Reddit of the day. And I love that quote from SGA. Of course, yeah, I'm not surprised the Thunder swept them. The Suns were suspicious for a bit at the end of the season, and well, the Thunder are the Thunder. And well, that Dylan Brooks shit don't work on SGA and Lou Dort, does it? No, it don't. Because they see right through it because they know from the other side, being his teammate, that what it's all about, and they're not gonna let it phase them. So yeah, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep going with the chat. Let's see. Stargate saying, Lex, as you know, I love back in the day wrestling as well. Definitely not versed and intricately knowledgeable as you are, though, but a huge fan nonetheless. No, I like that you taught me something that Jerry Lawler was the one who did Charles Wright's makeup when he was Papa Shango. Yeah, that's something I didn't know. I did not know that. We know Lawler's a great artist. The man does a lot of caricatures. He's a huge fan of the old 60s Batman series. And Jerry Lawler owns a version of the Batmobile from that TV show. So he's a huge Batman fan. He loves Batman and he loves art. And well, he's a very talented artist. So it makes sense that he'd be able to do the face paint for Papa Shango. Papa Shango. Yeah, I've studied wrestling history very deeply, and I know a lot of the behind the scenes stories. I know a lot about the wrestlers as their real person and what happened in their lives. In some ways, I'm a storyteller of the legends of wrestling, like Scott Hall. Yeah, I know a little bit about their real lives. Smooth saying this, not NBA news, but it looks like Vancouver is about to lose its Major League Soccer team. Wow, relocating to Las Vegas per reporting. Well, I'm like I said, once again, Vancouver is not a good sports market for teams. In some ways, they can keep the Canucks and they can do what they do because that's the NHL and that'll work. But people in Vancouver do their own sports. They're not trying to watch sports. They're out there doing their own sports, whether it's riding a bike, whether it's hiking, whether it's skiing, whether it's, they want to play basketball themselves outside. So they don't support their teams very well over there because it's so beautiful over there. They're busy doing their own thing. Why do they want to sit in the arena and watch these guys by this? It was sad for the Grizzlies, Stu Jackson, Steve Francis running that team in the ground and them losing the team to Memphis. Well, it's gone this way for the Major League Soccer team too. Well, that's too bad. Yeah, it's very close on the 1 yard line. This is very close. It's not for sure yet. Well, Vancouver, man, you're going to lose another franchise. It was interesting. Adam Silver didn't seem keen on bringing a team back to Vancouver when they brought it up on the broadcast the other day. I'll bet you Montreal is number one on the list if Canada's getting another team in the NBA. That's right. Trevor J saying this. Most points off the bench by a rookie in their first three playoff games, Colin Murray-Boyles, 53 points. Ben Gordon, 52. Tyler Hero, 50. And Ray Williams, 49. Earl Tatum, 48. So Colin's got this record in his first four. It should be four career playoff games, not three, because they've played four now. I think he's averaged 53 points for that. That should be higher than that, actually. Yeah, there you go. There's the Colin Murray-Boyles emoticon. Kareem saying RJ Barrett is gushing. He wants to close the series at home. Will it cement his legacy as a saga man representing Toronto? What do you mean? He don't have to cement anything. This man's Captain Canada. This man is repping us right. There's nothing he has to do. My book. He can build his legend further, but the man's tried and true for us. I don't have anything that he has to prove to me. I know he's going to do great things. I know he's going to play his ass off and do everything he can to help the Raptors win. That's what Darko said in the interview the other day. He said, RJ cares so much about making the Raptors successful. And that's all he cares about. He's tunnel focused on that. And there's no ego in it. That's why he can step aside and not worry about being a franchise player or the number one guy and let Scotty and Brandon do that because he has no ego in this. He has no selfishness in this whole thing. He's doing this for the country. He's doing this for the city. He's doing it for all of us. He's doing it for himself. That's the thing. And that's the purest intentions. That's the purest of heart. And to me, look, I don't have anything I need from RJ to know exactly who he is and what he's all about. And his success and failure, I will go with him in either way. And I'll stand by him whatever happens. Yeah, he don't have to cement nothing for me. Now he can get more of his legacy in the history books with Canada as a nation. The more he succeeds, he will become great like those before that have captivated the hearts of the country. people like Kawhi Leonard, people like Joe Carter, people like Vince Carter. So, RJ can get that kind of status. He's starting to get it a bit. I mean, our country is so much loves a hard worker and a guy that goes above and beyond. And RJ is the epitome of that. So it's like, and when they see a Canadian guy doing it like that, there's a real pride that comes out. And I think even people that don't really watch basketball or care about basketball deeply can respect RJ Barrett and what he's doing right now for the Raptors and also Team Canada and his part with that too. So yeah, it's a big deal all around, man. It's a big deal all around. Yeah, I'm not surprised that the Suns got swept. Oklahoma City is a good team that takes care of business, and that does not make me surprised. They're saying Pat Riley is not going to retire. Pat Riley's 81 years old, and he has said he's sticking around, and he doesn't want to trade Bam Adebayo. So Pat Riley is sticking around, and that's good. I honestly like Pat Riley, and I think if he's able to do the job and he wants to keep doing it, they should let him keep doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about this morning, real quick? We'll go ahead and do the birthdays since we're getting close to 2 hours, and we'll get the classic card, and we'll finish up around 2 hours. Happy birthday to Martin Lewis. Martin Lewis, who is that? He's 51 years old today. He's a former Raptor who played for the Raptors 25 games from 1995 to 97. So he was in the expansion years early, and he averaged about 4 points per game for the Raptors. And he only had 25 games for us over 2 seasons. But happy birthday to Raptor Martin Lewis, who is 51 today. He's 51 years old, is Martin Lewis. Also, we got to do a birthday to one of the original assistant coaches for the Toronto Raptors franchise, Brendan Suhr. Brendan Suhr is the other Brendan. There's Brendan Malone, the father of Michael Malone, who is the head coach of the Raptors. He brought Brendan Suhr with him from the Detroit Pistons to be one of his assistant coaches in the first year of the Raptors. Brendan Suhr was a big part of the Bad Boys championships in 89 and 1990. And of course, he was an assistant under Chuck Daly, as was Brendan Malone at that time. But yeah, he was an assistant coach for us from 1996 to 1997. And Brendan Suhr is 75 years old today. So happy 75 birthday for assistant coach Brendan Suhr. We do all the Raptors coaches and players for birthdays when we do the birthdays. So those are our birthdays for today. Yeah, the other Brendan, it's his birthday today, 75 today. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kareem's saying, how tall is RJ? He goes into the paint like it's no one's business. This guy dishes up layups from his left pocket. It's amazing to see how he gets his shots up. Technically, they say RJ is 6'7", and sometimes 6'6". So I think he's around 6'7". 6'7". Maybe on a good day, he looks 6'8". But he's not like Scotty's height. He's not Scotty's height. Scotty's like 6'9". And, RJ's around 6'6", 6'7", is what they technically say. So that's how tall he is. Stargate saying, I think Tyler Hero is more likely to get traded. Yeah, I only brought up the whole news thing because we had talked about Pat Riley and whether he was going to hang around or not, but they're showing that he is, that he has no intention to leave and not stop working with the Heat. So yeah, let's see. Smooth saying Jimmy Butler got freaked out when Pat Riley cried when he requested a trade. He got freaked out by that? I don't know. Pat Riley's an emotional guy. Pat Riley is a winner. Pat Riley is had such an amazing career around the NBA his whole entire life, whether it's a player, a coach, a general manager, or a president. This man is a true bona fide Hall of Famer, legend, icon of the NBA's history. There's no denying Pat Riley on that. That's right. And well, Jimmy Butler, you have a problem with a male sensitivity? I cried on my show yesterday because I was passionate and very happy about the Raptors winning Game 4. Would that freak you out, Jimmy Butler? Would that freak you out? In some ways, I'm starting to think Jimmy Butler is the problem. It's not anybody else. This man's got such a high level of standards that he's just messing up everywhere he goes, whether it's Miami, Minnesota, Golden State, Philadelphia. Yeah, there's something wrong with Jimmy at this point. Sometimes it's like if the problem it keeps coming with you, the problem's you. It's not the place you were at in some ways. That's the thing we got to figure out here. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Trevor's saying my comment before about Kiki, it looks like the guy was speaking it's an old coach of all the players. He speak about all the top picks, but he says Kiki is more better. I don't understand this, Trevor. In some ways, I have a hard time understanding what you're trying to say to me. A coach, old coach of all the players? Who the fuck is that? I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm sorry. We're not effectively getting communication here. So somebody said they think Kiki's going to win the Rookie of the Year. An old coach said that is what you're trying to say. Okay. That's interesting. I don't think she's going to get the opportunity, though. It can be that she could be picked out by somebody saying, oh, she's going to be the Rookie of the Year. It doesn't mean she'll get it because, once again, in basketball, it's not just about being the best or being the most skilled. It's about opportunity and timing and what your team's allowing you to do. Because, once again, it was said by Marina yesterday in her press conference. You guys got to understand, on any team, the role and the things that I do is dictated by the coach and the play style and what the organization wants me to do. And some people are saying, well, Marina, you're going to get a whole expanded role in Toronto. You're going to get to do things you never got to do in any other stop in your WNBA career. And some of that may be true. But also at the same time, Marina's like, well, I don't get mad at old places because, honestly, this is just where what I needed to be for them at that time for what I need to do. And that's the thing. Kiki Rice, this isn't the Kiki Rice show, Trevor. And we're not going to just roll out the red carpet and say our goal this year is to get Kiki Rice the Rookie of the Year. No, Sandy's going to make the team the way it is. And if Kiki happens to get the opportunity to be in the running for Rookie of the Year for some reason, that's great. But that's not the goal for this year. And there'll definitely be, opportunities for her, but there may not be the right opportunities for her in relation to the other opportunities for the other women who were in the top picks of the draft this year. That's what I'm saying here. Because look, once again, we have like 3 point guards that could start. We have Julie, we have Brittany, and we have her. And that's strong competition. You got a 2-time defensive player of the year in Brittany Sykes, who's ahead of her in the depth chart. You got Julie Alamon, who had a fantastic year as a pure point guard last year. So it's not like a clear-cut decision that Kiki Rice is a starter or she's going to get starters minutes. Like I said, if I'm looking at this from the outside, I see her as a shed. She's the backup point guard this year. And we know that starters are more likely to get Rookie of the Year. So that's the way I figured this all out in my head. If she starts, that's amazing. I hope she does. I'm not against it. It's just that if I'm thinking logically about this whole situation, this is the way I see it. Because some could make a case that the starting lineup may be Julie, Brittany, and Marina at 1, 2, and 3, and Kiki is the first guard off the bench as the 6th woman, because it's very likely they want the experience of Brittany Sykes and Marina in there for sure. And Julie Alamon is a very useful player to be a real forward general and a real stereotypical point guard. So it's going to get all sorted out. We'll get some answers tomorrow, but even tomorrow, we're only going to get a preseason look. And there's a lot of people going to play in the game tomorrow, just like with the Raptors. They're going to get tryouts, and they may get to play in this game, and then they get cut the next day or cut after the game on Friday. So that's what we're doing right now. We're in that mode where we're going to play everybody. We may not play the main people right away as much because we're looking at the other people at the end of the bench tomorrow night, and we want to see who's worth keeping. So that's the way I'm seeing the next day or so with the preseason game at Coca-Cola Coliseum for the Tempo tomorrow. Unfortunately, they're playing the same nights as the Raptors playoff games. It's like double duty. We're going to have the Tempo's first ever game on while game 5 is on. So it's like splitting screens like with the 905 and the Raptors. We're going to have to do that. And it'll be the same on Friday night too for game 6 when the Tempo are on the road against Minnesota Lynx. The Pulse are on the road against Minnesota Lynx. It's so stupid, man. So stupid. Kaz is saying RJ Barrett measured in at approximately 6'6" in shoes with a 6'9" wingspan and a 8 pounds frame at the 2018 Nike Hoops Summit. That makes sense. That sounds about right. That's a good wingspan. And well, he's heavier now. He's not 208 at this point. He's heavier now. He's like 228 at this point, and it's all muscle gain. Kareem saying Darius Garland trade is going to haunt the Cavs for years. Yeah, a lot of Cavs fans have regret on that already. Some people, this is the craziest thing. Y'all were talking about it yesterday in the Discord. A bunch of Cavs fans are saying that they've screwed up when they picked Evan Mobley, and they should have took Scotty Barnes at number 3 in that draft. That's how it is right now. All of a sudden, it's like they have regret about taking Mobley because Barnes is killing them now, and they wish they had taken Scotty instead. Edwin Mosley. That's right, Edwin Mosley. Let's see. Fiercey's saying, "Oh wow, reading RJ's measurements is a reminder of my 2026 resolutions. Got to take care of myself and maintain a decent BMI. Thanks, Cavs." It's funny. Don't compare your body type to RJ. Come on now. That's not fair. That's not fair. Cream saying this. Lights are too bright. Allen. Jared Allen, lights are too bright. Okay. Kaz is saying, my memory is they will start. My theory is that they will start Alamon, Sykes, and Mabry. The front court, I'm not too sure. Well, it'll be Fagbenley and well, Harrison. This is the thing. When Harrison showed up for a media day yesterday, she has a cast on her hand. She has a straight up hard cast on her arm. And like I said, I really do feel like she's in that Temple role for Sandy. Isabel Harrison is like the Garrett Temple on this team. And she's going to be the one who's kind of watching out. And she knows Sandy's things that she likes and doesn't like. She has such a history with her that she's going to be kind of like a player coach to a degree. Isabel Harrison, watch. And well, she has a cast on her hand, so she's not going to be ready for the season. It could very well be Harrison's not making her Tempo debut for like a month or so because she don't look like she's ready for the season. She had a straight up hard cast on her arm, and she said it straight up in the press interview. I know I'm not going to be able to play right away this season to help out the team. So yeah, Tammy and Sabali is probably right. You're probably right, Cass, because first of all, Tammy has the experience. And Sabali knows Sandy, and Sandy trusts Niara a lot. So it could very well be that. It's like Julie, Brittany, Marina, Temi, and Niara. And if you have Niara and Temi up front, you've got two very sizable players that are both play 5 or 4. So it's like they're interchangeable 4-5. And it's a big lineup, honestly. Like even with Sykes and Mabry kind of as the 2 and the 3, that's still a big lineup, because Mabry in some ways is guard forward, and that's kind of interchangeable. I think that Sykes can play 1, 2, 3, or 4, 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, or 3. She can actually be a small forward too. Her height's a little bit low for that, but it's the WNBA, and I'm still getting oriented to the different heights at different positions and what you can get away with. In some ways, it sounds weird to me to play a 5'9" or 5'11" person at the 3, but this is WNBA. I got to remember, this is not weird. That may be okay in this league right there. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think it'll be those 3 with Temi and Sabali. That sounds about right to me. That's right. Fiercely saying, I believe Allen and Mobley combined for 11 points on game 4, while CMB had 18. Yeah, we went over that yesterday in the review. I actually did point that out when I talked about Colin from the box score. Kareem saying, in your opinion, who's to blame for the Cavs? Is there a soft front court, or is it their inconsistent guard play? Fuck it both. I answer my own question. Good day, sir. Okay. You don't need me. I mean, for the Cavs, it's a weird thing. I think that the Cavs, for a long time, like other teams, have kind of taken shortcuts. And I think James Harden is the latest shortcut to me. I think James Harden's the latest shortcut. I think that Mobley and Allen are a very formidable big lineup, but they're nice guys. And that in some ways, they're getting punked by us right now. The Scotty and CMB are badasses. They're like basically like they're coming into the games, the last 2 games, like the Road Warriors at 6:05 on TBS on Saturday night. And it's the Mulkey brothers. And they're looking across and they see Jarrett and Edwin. Then they see, oh, that's the Mulkey brothers. They're soft. We're going to go and take their ass out with the Doomsday device. And it's like Road Warrior, Animal, and Hawk running into the ring and just devastating them. Clothesline. Oh, what a rush. Yeah, Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty are Road Warriors versus Mulkeys is what this is at this point. And yeah, it's not that they're soft or weak sauce. They're good, nice guys, and they're good competitive NBA players. But this is a playoffs, and things just got a little physical. Olivia Newton-John, that's right. Let's get physical, physical, and Scotty's getting physical. Let him dunk it on your heads. Let me hear your body talk, cause you're sad now. Yeah, yeah. Let's get physical. That's what it is. You got two guys that are built for this. You got two guys that are natural, physical, imposing, strong dudes. And in some ways, once again, it's like I said yesterday, strength versus length. They may be longer than us, but they're not stronger than us. And that strength in this kind of environment with the Eastern Conference playoffs right now, woo-wee, that's a big part of it right there. Now, the thing with the backcourt is really just, these guys can be exceptional on one night and they can be absolute duds on another night. And we know the pattern with James and Donovan. We know the reputation hanging around their necks in their careers. They make the playoffs, but they don't ever win. And that's part of it too. I mean, there's no way to just delineate this and just place the blame on the Cleveland side either which way. You know what I'm saying? All I know is Kenny Atkinson's frazzled and his hair's turning more gray this week. Let's just put it that way. That's what I see right there. That's what I see right there. That's right. Let's see. Kaz is saying Mabry is 5'11, Sykes is 5'9. Yeah. Yeah. So that's not bad. Mabry will really be the small forward. And she's done that on other teams before. Man, I'm so excited about seeing her play. She talks so much garbage, y'all. Seriously, she's got such an attitude. You can watch the highlight reel that Tempo put out of her, a 6-minute highlight reel of Marina Mabry, and she's making these threes in crazy ways. Like, she's the kind of player that'll bump somebody hard and put them on the floor and then just step back and shoot it and then like make a gesture at them and like taunting them. She's like that. Seriously, she is a villain. She is totally somebody that a lot of people hate in this league. And well, she's on our team, and she's going to be a floor general, and she's going to be a setter of the tempo. I mean, I can't wait. I mean, sometimes some of the shots in that highlight reel were impressive because she's making them, and it's very chaotic around her. But she's got such an interesting release. And she's got such a confidence that like there could be some crazy shit going on around her, like somebody's falling on the ground or somebody this happened, this, and she just like calmly just throws it in and bombs it. And the whole idea of her range and her ability to shoot half court, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch her play. And we've got to understand she's a little bit like that whole movie with the hockey slap shot and the Hanson brothers. Yeah, she's got that kind of mentality like those crazy dudes with the glasses and the long hair in that old classic hockey movie. Kind of that kind of reputation and that kind of edge and that kind of feel to her. Now, Sykes is interesting because it's going to be kind of like the team that we might be calling them smash and grab. We might have to call them that, smash and grab, because you're going to have Smash, who is Marina, and then you're going to have Grab, who's Slim, because she's going to grab the ball and steal it. So it's like Marina distract them. Maybe she'll say something crazy to somebody, or she'll just bump them or be extra physical. And then all of a sudden, Brittany Sykes is picking their pocket from the other side. Predicting that right now, predicting that. I'm not a WNBA expert. I am a basketball expert. I do know a lot about basketball, and I know player types. And I'm predicting that. I'm predicting that right there. Seriously, there's going to be something called the smash and grab. Marina's going to smash, and Brittany's going to grab. It's going to be like that. That's right. Small forward around 6 feet tall for WNBA seems decent. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Kaloy saying the answer is Darko. This guy is implementing crazy defensive schemes, and it's working. Our offense come and go, but that defense is stout as hell. That's the thing, man. Our offense, we can't rely on it in any kind of way, but we better be relying on our defense. That's for sure, especially in this Eastern Conference slog. That's right. Yeah, I was really impressed. Like, I watched more of the highlights after going the game on Sunday and seeing the view from the side and kind of the way that they were playing that formation. You guys were saying it was a 3-2 or a 2-3, where they did a really good job of denying and a really better job with switching too. We saw them doing made more sense, kind of like defensive protocols as far as their man and allowing like really crazy open shots. So you're right. A lot of credit to Darko and adjustments and the defensive schemes for the Raptors from game to game in this series against Cleveland. For sure, man. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying this. In a way, I don't blame the Cavs for shortcutting. Those years after LeBron left, I don't wish those on anyone. This should never happen. Like in some ways, it's like, you know what? Whatever. You got a championship. You should be happy. It's natural for a team to go through things after a championship like we did and like Cleveland should have. They want to make shortcuts. The team's so hungry, the fans are on it so bad. You make shortcuts, you're not going to get there. You can't take shortcuts in the NBA. I'm sorry. The teams that do it right and build it right are the ones that win, like Oklahoma City and Denver in recent years and our championship. You try and take shortcuts, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. At some point, you're going to get found out and you're going to get what you get. And this is part of what's happening with Cleveland right now. They've done so much shuffling of their roster, whether it's DeAndre Hunter, Karis LeVert, Lonzo Ball. There's been so many different players that have come through there that were very important, crucial players, and they're just not getting the right formula exactly right. And I think they still don't have it exactly right. They really don't. And I don't think James Harden was the right one, right? I don't think James Harden was the right one. That's right. Let's see. KT saying, I think if Mosley or Allen were in Toronto, they would have a backbone and maybe become a rail dog and not teacup Yorkies. Do you think it's Cleveland's softness or it's actually just them personally? No, I don't think they're that soft. In fact, we shouldn't talk about this too much like this. We don't want to feed any fire to them to prove us wrong, right? In some ways, we don't need to be talking trash about the Cavs. We just beat them. In some ways, we don't need to focus on whether they're soft or not. Because nobody needs no bulletin board. I think that they're very strong players and they're very good players and they're capable players. But right now, we're outplaying them. And that's it. You can put Allen and Mobley against most pairs in the front court around the league, and they will just absolutely kick their ass. But in some ways, I would say, well, this is a testament to Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Colin Murray-Boyles, that these guys are able to negate them because normally they're a terror to most of the other teams in the league. In some ways, this is part of the reason why we have Cavs number is because we're not a good matchup for them. Their strengths and those two guys are not utilized against us because we have the neutralizers that actually neutralize them. That's a part of it. It's not that they're soft. It's that we have the personnel that matches up so well with them. We cover them up better than most of the other NBA teams. That's it. Stargate's putting that, oh, what a rush. Oh, what a rush, Keith Pelly. Oh, what a rush. Shut up. You're not me. I'm Keith Pelly. No, I'm Mike Hedstrom. I'm Hawk. Oh, what a rush. Reggie's saying no direction, no hope. LeBron had to come back and save them again. Well, I don't care. None of this stuff matters to me. People coming into Jurassic Park when LeBron James, Laker jersey, holding up a sign, LeBronto still lives. My ass. Take this L and go home, Cleveland fan. My ass. How dare you show up to the site of Jurassic Park dressed in a LeBron Lakers jersey saying LeBronto still exists. No, it doesn't, because LeBron's on the Lakers and the Raptors won the championship the first year he left to go there. So don't give me this shit. We killed LeBronto in 2019. And LeBron James ain't got nothing to do with no LeBronto since. And you cannot put that LeBronto on us now. We're tied with them, first of all. And second of all, there is not a player on this team. LeBron James Jr. does not play for the Cavs. So I'm sorry. It's never ever going to happen again. If he shows up on their team next year in his last year in the NBA, are you going to be good enough to do a LeBronto again to us in last season? Hell no, they won't be. So LeBronto is dead. And anybody who brings it up at this point is stupid. That's right. Kaz is saying this. Sykes won Defensive Player of the Year twice already. Man, I need to educate myself more. Yeah. I don't know if she won the Defensive Player of the Year or she led the league in steals 2 seasons. That's true. I know that's true. Brittany Sykes has been the steals leader for the WNBA 2 different seasons. Like she was the number 1 steals getter in the whole entire league for 2 different seasons. That's the thing. She's been on all defensive teams. She is a very decorated, awarded player in the NBA already, WNBA. And also, she was an all-star last year. She was on the all-star team last year, Brittany Slim Sykes. So she comes with a resume already. And then we can go to Marina. Marina made the biggest score in the history of the unrivaled league just a couple months ago. She bombed 47 points in a very short game that's only a 3-on-3 game. And she got the record for the most points scored in an unrivaled game, 47 points in one of those unrivaled games. So we got people coming in with accolades. Julie Alemans, the MVP of EuroLeague right now. She just won the championship of EuroLeague with Fenerbahce, and she's the MVP. Christy Wallace just won a 3-on-3 tournament for Australia in Asia with the women of Australia, winning the 3-on-3 tournament in Eurasia or in Asia, Southeast Asia, and Asia and Australia. We just had another one of the players win the Italian league on Sunday. Kitty Laxka, who has not shown up yet, the Latvian player for us, is the MVP of the Italian league and just won the Italian league. There's a lot there. Aaliyah Nye won the WNBA championship last year with the Aces as a rookie. Nyara Sabali won a championship with Sandy Brondello 2 years ago on the Liberty. We got a lot of winning already on this Tempo team. I'm telling you, there's a lot of credentials here. There's a lot of credentials. Smith saying it might happen a third time. What might happen a third time? What are you talking about? What might happen a third time? I don't know. LeBron's going to save them. I don't give a shit about LeBron in Cleveland. Why are we doing this, Reggie? Who gives a fuck about that? Seriously, who gives a fuck about that? Fiercely saying Mabry is our villain, Dylan. I'd like to think she's more like Lowry. I think she's more like Lowry. I think that, we can make comparisons to our Tempo players to kind of get the shorthand of what they are. In some ways, I don't want to be insulting towards the WNBA players. I noticed yesterday, for the most part, the Tempo players did not bring up the Raptors. They did not bring them up. They did bring them up with Marina and Brittany because they went to the games. They wanted to talk about the atmosphere and the experience going to Scotiabank Arena for these playoff games. And they were ecstatic about it. They were like, wow, this is amazing. But for the most part, they didn't talk about the Toronto Raptors or the NBA at these press conferences, and rightfully so. In some ways, they want to distinguish themselves, and they don't want to focus to be on the MNBA, the MNBA. Some people call it that just to make it fair. WNBA, MNBA. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they didn't bring it up a whole lot. But I think that Mabry, to me, is like Lowry. And, she's got Curry in her too. That's the other thing. The other thing, they call her Chef Mabry, and they call Steph Curry Chef Curry. So imagine a player on our team, our first franchise player, who's a combination of Kyle Lowry with Steph Curry, a person who can hit half-court bombs, but also has the same attitude, tenacity, grittiness like Kyle Lowry as a leader on the team. That's basically Marina Mabry. That's the stuff I'm hearing. And Brittany Sykes, I don't know who the comparison is to me. For some reason, because of where she's from and the way she carries herself, she kind of reminds me of Emmanuel, like a lot, like quickly. But I don't know who the comparison should be for her as far as the NBA. Being a steals leader, is that like she's like a Gary Payton? I don't know. We'll have to see. Some of the other players are easier to kind of peg and say, like, yeah, Isabel's kind of like giving me Garrett Temple vibes because of her leadership and connection to the coach. Like I said, Lexi Held gives me Grady Dick vibes. So there's different roles on this team, and we'll have to see. And in some ways, the comparisons they're just as useful as NBA comparisons, I'm sure. But for people that aren't familiar with the team or the players, and you are familiar with the NBA counterparts, this could be an easy shorthand to kind of say, yeah, this is the kind of role kind of thing that they're doing for our team. And that's why Kiki Rice, to me, is going to be like Shed. She's going to be like Shed. That's what I think right now. Yeah. The 2-3 softbox. That's right. That's what they were doing, the defense in the game the other day. That's right. Fiercely saying Dennis Schroeder and Dylan Brooks are problematic at times, but the type of players you want on your team, I see Marina the same, intense, locked in, exuberant, and not a pushover. Well, she has a standard, and that's the problem with these players like Jimmy Butler and Dennis Schroeder and Chris Paul. They have a standard for how they think people should be as professionals, and if there's people on the team that ain't doing it right, they will call them out because they have no filter. They have no filter. And I think Mabry's like this too. I think that she will have a standard. And if she feels like there's players on the team not pulling their weight or doing things right, she may be an asshole to them. Let's just put it that way. So that's, I think the feeling I got from her interview was that she has to watch what she says so that she doesn't hurt feelings. In some ways, her best way of being a leader on this team isn't necessarily to be a vocal leader, but to be a leader on the court and what she's doing on the floor. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Kaloy saying Schroeder was most effective. I think Cavs will play him more in game 5. Yeah, he was annoying me in game 4. He was beating us to the hoop. There was one time he walked them right to the hoop and just laid it up. I think it was RJ that was on him. And I was like, man, RJ, don't let Dennis just do that to you. Dennis is a very smart player. Dennis knows how to manufacture points. You know, if he knows when there's a key three to try and shoot it, he doesn't always make it, but he's an intelligent player. He can read the flow of the game, and he looks for opportunities and he takes them. So in some ways, he is a dangerous player. They're playing him consistently. He is their backup point guard, and he's a good veteran for them to have. I'm sure Detroit misses him right now. Let's just put it that way. Schroeder is missed in Detroit in this series with Orlando right now. They could have had him right now. They might be in better shape against the Magic right now, honestly. Yeah, I'm not surprised Jalen Duren is folding right now. In some ways, I feel like he's so overhyped. I didn't agree with him being an all-star. And I guess, yeah, you have to make a big deal out of Detroit being the number 1 team in the East, but you could just give all the accolades to Kay Cunningham. You don't need to have a second all-star. I didn't agree with him being an all-star. And if Jalen Duren's involved in the all-NBA list and Scotty isn't, I'm going to be pissed. Because honestly, Jalen Duren is not a better player than Scotty Barnes. And if Jalen Duren's on a second team All NBA or a third team All NBA and Scotty Barnes is excluded, I'm gonna be pissed because fucking Jalen Duren is not doing it right now, and Scotty is. That's the thing. In some ways, they got to vote when they see them in the playoffs and then decide. They can't do it early, is what I'm saying. Let's see. Reggie's saying, yeah, focus on winning game 5. It's a very big moment for the Raptors. Don't rest on having a game 6 at home. Win game 5. We have to do that first, for sure. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We don't win game 5, but we should win game 5. It's a pivotal game. It's a pivotal game. You win game 5, you only have to win one of the last 2. If you don't win game 5, you have to win the last 2. So it's such a pivotal game tomorrow night in Cleveland. And their crowd's going to be coming with a lot of energy because they've seen our crowd and they're going to be like, whoa, we have to up our game because we have nothing on Toronto's crowd, honestly. We'll see if they can do anything. Probably not. I don't expect them to be anywhere near us still. There's no way they have the same energy. And hopefully the Raptors are road warriors. They go on the road like Animal and Hawk, and they're a Legion of Doom for the Cleveland Cavaliers, dooming them with the doomsday device of Scotty Barnes and Colin Murray-Boyles come out there with mohawks and their faces painted. Yeah, we'll know it's on. And Precious Paul Ellering is here. It's Precious Darko Ellering. Precious Darko Ellering. Fiercey said this. Lex's impression of Pelly reminds me of this emoticon, the butthole face emoticon. Yeah, that's kind of fair. That's kind of fair right there. It's kind of fair. Stargate saying, yeah, I saw that fan in the Lakers jersey with that sign. How was he allowed in there to speak? It speaks volumes of how nice Raptors fans are. Yeah, the guy was an idiot. Like I said, there were a Cavs fan sitting near me at the game the other day, and they just disappeared before the game ended. They were sad and they slunk away and like crept up the stairs out the door before the game ended. It's really funny, man. Yeah, you think they could have done that in New York? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Some fans are talking about going to the game tomorrow from Toronto. There's some Redditors who I want to go to the game 5 in Cleveland. Do you guys have any advice? Because you know what the lowest ticket is for the Cleveland game tomorrow is $50. You could pay $50 and go to the game 5 of the first round tomorrow in Cleveland. That's crazy. Now you got to think about gas. You got to think about getting a hotel to stay there overnight. There's all other kinds of costs. And what is the cost of, possibly being fucked with by U.S. Dictatorial forces like ICE? First of all, I'm not crossing the border spending money on the other side of the border because on principle, elbows up and fuck the United States and their tariff war bullshit. So, some people will go to that game from Canada. I wish you safety. I hope that you don't get fucked with by the fucking Gestapo. And yeah, go to the game, get loud there, go to enemy lines. We saw a lot of Cavs fans in Scotiabank Arena on Sunday too. So yeah, it's friendly. You can go to different places. It's tough to go to other arenas. We can ask Trevor. Trevor goes to other arenas all the time. He's gone to Madison Square Garden and rocked the Raptors gear for us against the Knicks. Trevor's done that. So he can tell you from his experience what's that's like, and whether it's like, animosity or out of pocket comments or any kind of that kind of thing. Trevor knows. Trevor's been in it. He knows. That's right. People like Bryce Lawson went to his first Raptors game against Memphis this season. He wore all Raptors gear. Maybe he heard something there. It's going to happen when you're on the road sometimes, but we have such good fans. They travel so well, and we're in every city, and we show up for every game the Raptors play, whether it's at home or on the road. We are there. Our fans are there. That's right. People like Nins in Philadelphia sitting in the Sixers arena with a Raptors jersey on. That's right. That's right. These are the real ones, the ones on enemy lines. That's right. It's Trevor and Nins and people like that. That's right. Chloe saying the version of the Raptors that won game 3 and 4 can hang with any team in the league. I want it to be prettier. It's one thing to win that way. It's so just by the skin of your teeth and just barely kind of crazy stuff. I'd rather have more easier wins because we're making our layups and our shots and we have a better offensive output than to rely on, holy crap, we shot 32% and then we still won the game. That's crazy stuff. So, I would think that after the game on Sunday and winning it that way, we make more shots, it should be easier to beat them, right? That's logical, right? Stargate saying this, hell no, we're too nice up here sometimes. We should have thrown that guy out like how Uncle Phil used to throw Jazz out of the house. Jazzy Jeff, man, let's not do this. Let's not be like this. We can be better than this. In some ways, we're better because of this. And, that guy was an idiot, and he probably got his own humiliation from being out there like that and us winning and him feeling his feelings that way. I hope that some Raptors fans that were near him rubbed it in real nice and made him feel like, yeah, you shouldn't have came here and did this. You're a jackass. The sad thing is that fan that was wearing that LeBron jersey and wearing that sign, he's from Toronto, I bet. He's not from Cleveland. I'll bet he's a kid from Toronto that's just an asshole who's a big Cleveland or LeBron fan. He's a LeBronto lover in Toronto because we do have idiots like that running around in our city. People that hate the Raptors but are from Toronto are weird. Let's just put it that way. And especially LeBron fans that hate Toronto and root for LeBron like this and do stuff like this. Seriously, that's right. Yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reference. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, we of course we know that the great James Avery that played Uncle Phil was also the voice of Shredder on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. That's right. Did y'all know that? That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool little trivia there, right there, right? KT saying this, one thing that continues to piss me off is that the media talk about how bad the Cavs are and not how good the Raptors are playing. I wish they watched the games and not just the highlights. I know. And I've seen this too. They did ESPN did a write-up about the state of our series at 2-2, and they focused completely on the Cavs. They said, well, James and Donovan show up for game 5 to get things righted against the Raptors. This is just the par for the course. And it'll be the same way with the tempo. Everything written about the tempo or the Raptors is not going to be written from their perspective. It's always going to be from the perspective of the adversary and the other team. Because once again, the U.S. sports media has mandates on things. They're going to misspell our names, get our logos wrong. They're going to do all that shit, and that's on purpose. They're going to mispronounce players' names like Anunoby. They fucking fucked up OG's name for like 4 years, but now all of a sudden they know how to say his name really correctly when he's in New York. It's the same kind of underlying shade and shit. And honestly, this stuff is more speaks to their insecurity than any slight to us. Seriously, in some ways, that's what this is. They're already sliding the tempo by calling them the Pulse. And well, they must mean they're afraid of them. That's what I take it as. I mean, that's part of the reason why we get all this shit as the Raptors. It's because people hate us. It's because people hate us because we were good and we kicked their ass. So we hurt them because we beat their team, their favorite team. And now the graphics guy is fucking up our graphic, you know? It's that kind of action with this. It's what this is. Is what this is. And they're always going to write it from the perspective of the other side than us. And sad thing is, our media up here will glaze the other team more than actually cover our team at times, too. So Reggie's saying this, having been to a lot of American cities, I will tell you this, Toronto is better than all of them. I mean, I won't disagree. There are some cities in the States that I think are absolutely beautiful and amazing. Seattle's a nice city. Santa Fe, New Mexico is an amazing city. Madison, Wisconsin is a nice city too. There's some cities just across the nation in different places that are actually very nice. But if you're talking about major metropolitan cities like New York, LA, Chicago, those cities like nothing on us. Some people say Chicago may be the closest. Some people are diehard New York fans and just love New York this and New York that. But man, I'd like to think what you're saying is true. Although I feel like Toronto has gone downhill in the last 25 years in a lot of bad ways, whether it's becoming more unaffordable, whether it's becoming less cultural because they're sucking out all the money in the arts and the quirkiness of the city to be able to be cool with weird art installations stuff. And no, Drake's Ice does not count. Just stuff like that. A sad thing for me is I'm out here in the country, and it used to be that Canadians really respected the environment and didn't throw trash out their windows of their cars. But there's trash all along the streets out here in the country because there's idiots out here that do not respect environment and they're throwing their garbage out the windows of their cars. That shit I was used to growing up in Florida, in Tallahassee. But seeing it happen more and more up here makes me very sad that Canadians are idiots and we're not going in the right direction. That we used to have pristine streets where we kept things very clean and people would come to our country and say, wow, this is a very clean country. It's like New York, but it's clean, is Toronto. Well, sadly, it seems like people are getting lazier and they don't give a fuck. And there's way more trash in the ditches out in the rural roads than there used to be. And I'm disappointed in Canadians for being like that all of a sudden. We don't want to be more like Americans in any kind of way. Trust me, they're an awful example to emulate in anything, whether it's healthcare systems or anything. And trashing our streets and not respecting to put the rubbish in the right places is a sign that, yeah, that's an American influence right there. Because I saw it down south all over Tallahassee. And I hate seeing it in my neighborhood up here in Ontario. I hate seeing it up here. I really do. Kaloy saying, I don't know how Wemby can affect our offense when he's there inside the paint. I don't know how Wemby can affect our offense when he's there inside the paint. I don't understand this. He's not on our team. Reggie's saying this, when I'm somewhere else, I realize how lucky I am. There you go. I like that. That's a good way to think, man. Grass isn't always greener on the other side. Enjoy what you got and take it to heart and don't take it for granted. That's what I say right there. That's a great attitude right there. Yeah, let's see. Kareem saying Atlanta is fun though. Man, Atlanta's up. I can say this because I spent a lot of time in Atlanta. My parents live in Atlanta, who, by the way, they just showed up here. They're here visiting me. That's part of the reason why I'm in the studio all of a sudden. My brother lives in Atlanta. I know Atlanta really well. I don't like Atlanta. I like the history with Martin Luther King and like the importance for Black history in the United States. That's one of the main things I like about it. But the city is so poorly planned. The traffic there is just as bad as Toronto. And it's just a stupid city in some ways to me. Like it does not make any sense. Atlanta doesn't make any sense to me. It's like a hornet's nest of roads that just have no rhyme or reason, and trying to navigate and go around that city is a nightmare. So no, I can't put this on Atlanta. Toronto's a better city than Atlanta. That's what I believe. And you don't have to agree with me. That's what I would say right there. Yeah, but I know Atlanta pretty good just because my family lives there. And I just don't like the city layout that you have to get on freeways and the traffic's horrible. And in some ways, it's just a very poorly planned city. It's a very poorly planned city. Seymour saying this, Jalen Duren got his head busted last night by Kane. That dunk was nasty. That guy, Jamal Kane, that had 6 turnovers against the Raptors when we scored 52 points on them that Sunday, he went off and dunked it on Jalen Duren's head. That's funny. KT saying this: Detroit loses all their minutes when Cade isn't in, and when Cade isn't having a good game like last night, they're cooked barbecue chicken. Too many eggs in one basket and not enough diversification of leaders on their team. Not a problem the Raptors have, seeing as they got that three-headed attack of RJ, Scotty, and Brandon. Brandon's not totally 100% Brandon. We can weather that. Scotty, you just got to go muscle them more. And RJ, do what you do. Yeah. No Emmanuel quickly. Well, we got people to step up for that. But it seems like the MVP for the Pistons is absolutely essential for their success. It's what it seems like right there. That's right. Kaloy saying Cade isn't doing much better, too. Too many turnovers. The beauty of the playoffs where you have risers and shrinkers. Yep. I love this stat from our game 4 against the Cavs. James Harden had more turnovers in the game on Sunday than field goals made. Yeah, 8 turnovers, and I think he only made 7 shots. So you got to love that. That's a good sign. That's what we want. We want stuff like that. It's really, really good. Let's see what else y'all are saying here. Seymour saying the battle of Angel Reese's boyfriends Duran versus Carter Jr. So she used to date Jalen Duran, and now she's with Wendell Carter Jr. Man, Angel's enjoying being in Atlanta, though, so far. They've had a really good reception for here. And it's going to be an interesting landscape in the WNBA with Angel Reese on the Atlanta Dream this season. Yeah, that should be a grudge match right there. Boyfriends versus boyfriends. Jalen Duran, you shouldn't be soft as Charmin. You should be coming back in some ways because, yeah, you're the spurned lover. That's right. That's right. Kareem saying this: not only Duran got dunked on by Kane, but he slid all the way to the cameraman square on the floor. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't see the highlight, but you know what? They lost. That's the most important thing. And Detroit's in trouble. They can get put out if they're not careful very, very soon. Very, very soon. Smooth saying William Liu and Alex Wong are going to Cavs land to cover the game. They did that this last one too. They went on the road trip with Lindsay and drove there, and he went to Arby's or some shit like that. Yeah, of course they're gonna go. Of course they're gonna go. I wouldn't go into the States right now. Fuck that. I would not go there. Smooth saying just the country of Canada. I love it. It's the best place in the world. That's right. You know, and we don't want to be so Toronto centric. People hate us across Canada. So Toronto's the center of the world, center of the world. Oh, you think your shit don't stink, Toronto, blah, blah, blah. You know, I get that. Why people get so upset about that. Just don't get jealous. In some ways, Toronto is a place where a lot of things are happening. And don't get jealous, rest of the country. We're with y'all. This is our team. All of our teams. Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, everybody, Winnipeg, St. John. We are everybody's team from cross country all the way to Whitehorse and Yellowknife. Come on now. This is Canada's team. And just because Toronto's the name on the team, it doesn't mean that we don't get jealous. If you want to come and see us, come to the city. We'll gladly have you, and we'll be happy to see you in the arena. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying going to any Philly event cheering for the away team is crazy brave. Yeah. Seymour. Yeah. We got Nab Bhatia going down there, and we beat the Sixers in that one game in that series the last time we were in playoffs. And Nab was in there roasting people at the court side as they were leaving because we kicked their ass in their home court in Wells Fargo. Oh, that was a glorious time when we won that away game, playoff game against the Sixers in that series. Yeah, Nins, our guy Nins, the men for our Discord server, he's going to games when the Raptors come there, and he is rocking our jersey in the enemy territories, the city of brotherly love. So, yeah, he's a real one right there, our guy Nins, for sure. That's right. Seymour saying, Alberta, don't play that. People will chase you if you throw trash around. Alberta is clean. See, I like that. I want that to be more like that here again, because there is a real dirty ass people. Like I cleaned up all this trash out of my ditch on the road over here, and I look up the street and there's just tons of it just strewn and littered. Now, part of it is the buildup for the whole winter, and there's nobody's come through for a spring cleanup that people are tossing stuff out. And this could be like 5 months of trash thrown out windows during the winter months, but still we need to go clean it up. Maybe I'll go down the street and just be a good Samaritan and just clean up my street, even though it's not on me and it's not my house. But I might do it just because I want my neighborhood to look nice. And I don't like seeing cans and plastic and all kinds of garbage on the side of the streets just because people are lazy and they threw it out their car windows. I'm sick of that shit. And I like that Alberta's like that. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Kaloy saying, I meant if we meet Wemby in the finals, can our inside offense match up with him? Well, you didn't say that. You didn't say that. I'm not thinking about this. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to think about any kind of finals matchup with the West because we have so many steps before we get there. I don't want to jinx it too, Kaloy. So I'm not answering this question. Okay. Momo Beats is here. Good morning, Momo Beats. Welcome back to the chat, man. Good to see you. Atlanta has the ring road, though. The ring road. The ring road? You mean like the turnpike around the whole city, 275? Man, fuck that road too, man. I mean, I would drive from Tallahassee to Toronto and you take that bypass and you can get around the city pretty fast if you're just trying to get around. But if you go through the city on 75, man, you can be sitting there and waiting around. You might as well get out of your car, put the lawn chair in the middle of the road like they do at Freaknik and sit out there in the middle of the road and have a beer and have a little tailgate party in the middle of the interstate in Atlanta. Like they do. They do that. They have that event in Atlanta called Freaknik. And it's crazy. Like people will be pulling up in the middle of the interstate and just like hanging out and having a beer in the median. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Good to see you, Momo Beats. Kareem saying this, you think Fudd and Page are a conflict of interest? And could something like this happen in the NBA and not spark controversy? Well, this is a weird thing. And this is going to be a new area of something that I haven't dealt with doing my channel with the NBA is players that are dating each other on the same team. Like this is something that is, it's not totally common, but it happens in the WNBA. And, there's a sensitivity to this. I mean, in some ways, GMs and team presidents and coaches may have to worry about this aspect of relationships on their teams. I would say it could be a conflict of interest for sure. Like, what if they are fighting with each other and they're pissed off at each other about something stupid? Like, oh, I saw you flirting with her, Paige. How the hell you could do that to me? I wasn't flirting with her. I swear. I'm sorry. I wasn't flirting. No, you were. And I'm pissed at you now. And now we got to play this game against the Mystics. Ah! Yeah, what the fuck is that going to be? I mean, in some ways, that is a whole other can of worms that we're not used to in the NBA. I don't think there's been any gay romances in the NBA so far. No, I don't think there has on the down low. I don't think there has. If there has been, we just don't know about it and we don't need to. But this could really blow up in a team's face. I would say I don't want this risk. What do they say? You don't date your coworkers, right? I've done that in the past. I talked about on this channel. I dated a coworker. And it was miserable. It was awful because it was a secret relationship nobody knew about, and it was absolutely hell. Just to put it that way. So, I mean, this situation with the Dallas Wings is rife with issues. If they're going to be like the Mavericks, well, I hope they do screw up, especially if they're owned by that genocidal bitch named Adelson. So it's like, well, is this the way the Dallas Wings have a downfall? Is that their two best players are dating each other and they're in a fight? Yeah, it sounds like a conflict of interest to me, Kareem. It does. It does. It sounds like you don't need this possibility just in case. Now, do you make a rule and say none of y'all are allowed to date each other? But it's love. We fell in love at the shoot around. it's like, what do you do with this? This is a whole new world for me as far as being an NBA channel starting to cover the WNBA. It's a whole new world for me. That's right. It's like DZ saying, I hate when we as Raptors fans get too cocky. It always comes back to bite us. Game 5 will be the biggest test for this group. Series doesn't start till the home team loses. That's right. It's like these are very wise. I like this attitude too. I don't like being a cackling jester. I don't like laughing at people when they're down. I like to be a good winner and respect the opponent after we victory over them and give them nice words of encouragement and not be a jerk. I hate that. I hate that. And there is a lot of this in Raptors Nation where people are being cackling little jesters, laughing and making fun of people at bad things and bad situations. It's not the right energy. And it's true. That shit will boomerang back at you if you're not careful. Trust me. This is part of the reason why the Knicks downfall every year, because their energy is like this mostly from their fan nation. So let's be better than this. Let's understand also if we hold ourselves in high character and high esteem and do the right things and act in the right way, maybe the basketball gods will shine on us and give us more help on the court with good outcomes for our team. I truly do believe this, that what comes around goes around. And if we can act our best and be at our best, we will get the best results. I really believe this. I think Slug Deezy's got, I'm giving him a dunk for this because I feel like this point is important. And for Raptors Nation in general, nephews and casuals, you guys speak for us as representatives sometimes, and y'all are way out of pocket and with your dumb shit that you post. I mean, there was something that was posted in our Discord server that I thought was just absolutely unnecessary, and I felt like it was low, and I felt like we shouldn't have done it. And I'll go look at it real quick. I'm gonna find it. Nine dunks for Slug DZ. He's got the RJ right now. All right, let me see. And I'm not gonna single out who did it, but yeah. Yeah, let's see. I'm not going to single out who did it. Okay, yeah, it's this one. I know who posted. You know who posted it. There was a guy at Jurassic Park, and you called it a legendary sign. But I think this is absolute tacky shit. And as a man like this, I take offense to it as a Raptors fan. It's a guy with a full head of hair and a big beard at Jurassic Park with a dumbass sign that says, "I'd rather sit in Toronto traffic than have James Harden's hairline." That's petty and stupid and childish and immature and just unnecessary. First of all, you're making fun of the man's hairline. There's no place for making fun of people's appearances like that. And then you're slight on the down low, dissing our own city by bringing up the Toronto traffic. It's like it's a horrible sign. This guy's an idiot, and he shouldn't have. I don't like fans like this. It's like it's totally unnecessary. We don't need to piss off James Harden, so he's coming. You know, I didn't agree with them booing him in the games here in Toronto. Booing James is dumb. It's not the right move. Trust me, because we don't need to have any opinion on him. The less you pay attention to him, the less you give him energy, the less he's likely to go off and come at us. So every time that he got the ball, when the Raptors fans were booing him, I was like, no, shut up, y'all. Shut up. I was doing that in the crowd. I was like, don't do this. You don't need to piss James off just in case it gives him the motivation to come at us and kick our ass. That's the thing you guys got to understand is like, let's not give them bullets. Let's not give them ammunition. Let's not give them reasons to get up and get mad and pissed off and drop 40 on us. So it's like, don't boo James Harden. It's not worth it. He's his own person. He's got his own thing. In some ways, he doesn't deserve the booing, first of all. And second of all, it's only going to hurt us. It doesn't help anything if you boo him. Trust me, it will hurt us because he'll get pissed off and he'll be more motivated to come at us. So I never agree with that. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying no more Freakniks since early 2000. Too dangerous and freaky. Really? They stopped doing them. Oh, that's too bad. It's probably morphed into a different kind of event, and it's probably in safer environments. But yeah, I totally remember the Freaknik age. I mean, I guess that was around when I was in high school and in university in the 90s that I remember going to Atlanta and seeing the people out in the middle of the interstate. It was crazy, man. Those are crazy times, man. Seriously. Smooth saying, lucky thing I'm scornful. No Freakniks for me. Yeah, it's a fun phenomena. Like it's a very African American cultural event that is very legendary. It's very legendary, and people down south know all about it. I'm surprised that some of y'all up here know about it. Honestly, I really am. I'm surprised that y'all know about it. Nameless is saying lunch break. Glad to be here with the familia. All right, Italian plumber friend. Glad to see you in my chat this morning. Nameless, my great Italian friend that does the plumbing. That's right. Momo Beats is saying, why don't we ever draft point guards? We seem to always draft 6'7" wings who aren't great shooters. Now, is that totally true? We drafted Jamal Shed. We drafted Damon Stoudemire. We drafted Malachi Flynn. I think that part of the reason why more recently, Momo, may be that, like, you know, you can get a big ball handler like Scotty. You don't need to draft a true point guard anymore, because there's so much good all-around talent coming up in the college ranks now that you could actually draft a 6'7" guy and he could be like a point guard, like Scotty. You know, there really was a type that Bobby and Masai were drafting for a while, and it was the 6'7", 6'9" wing. But we've shifted a little bit since. You know, you can look at picks like Koloko, pick like Colin, Jacoby, and it's a little bit more diversified, and it's not so much like it was before, where it was like OG, Pascal, similar kind of position. So, I mean, there's no hard, fast rule to this. In some ways, I think there may be a one rule, though, that they have is they don't draft centers, which is weird. I wish they would. I don't think we need a draft a point guard right now. I really like our hierarchy with Emmanuel, Scotty, Jamal, and even the backup point guards being kind of like RJ and Brandon and Jacoby, and we do have guys coming up in the ranks. Actually, this is a good place for me to bring this up, Momo Beats. Thank you. That, Chucky Hepburn, I've seen a video of him fully back, like his back. He's up there, up and running. There was a video I saw yesterday of him doing a drill where he's running back and forth from the two ends of the court and bombing threes at full speed and nailing them. So Chucky looks like he's finally healed up. And we should see him in summer league, and hopefully we see him as a position battle for training camp, another year on 905. Hopefully this year healthy and able to be dribbling and playing a lot more this year, because they haven't given up on Chucky. They held on to him for this whole year on the two-way, and there's footage out of him being back on the court and looking full speed again. So that's a fantastic thing. Keep working hard this summer, Chucky. We look forward to seeing Hepburn out there for Vegas Summer League, and also training camp and preseason. And, you're obviously going to be playing for 905 again this year coming up. And let's get them even better this year. This is a fantastic year for Raptors 905. You can build off of it. And hopefully, you're going to come back and do that. We could also say, even though in a roundabout way, Elijah's more of a shooting guard, there is point guard depth around Elijah Martin also, and AJ Lawson. AJ Lawson's a point guard to an extent too. So there are quite a few different ones right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Nameless is saying, don't poke the bear, man. Let James stay sleeping. I know. We don't want to make him mad. We don't need James motivated, because it can be a problem for the Raptors still in this series. So let James sleep. Let him sleep. Don't hit the alarm. Let it sleep. Okay, we got Chloe Hi 328 here. I thank you for the subscription. And she's saying the Chinese man you talked about yesterday is my grandpa. Cool. Yeah, he's what I said yesterday, he's like a kindred spirit of mine. Like, I feel like him and I, a weird way, in an unspoken way, at the game. And I felt like that your grandfather, he got what I was doing there. And I appreciated his energy of encouragement and also just like approval. It was very cool to sit in front of you guys and share the fantastic victory on Sunday and see the Raptors win in such a glorious way. And that's what I love about being in the arena, is bonding with strangers that have the same passion as me. And your grandfather really did touch me in my heart. And I don't know his name. I may never ever see him again, but just know that, we're out here and we all have the same bonds and we are all the same. And I just love the beauty of that the Raptors basketball can connect us all on such a deep, passionate level. And that, oh man, I was so happy to be loud for everybody in the section, and so happy to have your grandfather's support behind me while I was doing it. Because sometimes I come to Raptors games, and I do this every game. It doesn't matter if it's the playoffs. I yell defense from the start of the game right to the end, and I get a lot of dirty looks. I get a lot of people that look at me and they're kind of like, yeah, what is this asshole doing? He's so loud. Why is he doing this? It's the beginning of the game. That's just the way I do it. And it matters. It matters. And we saw it on Sunday. So, I appreciate when people are supportive like your grandfather was, and like you all were behind me. The people in front of me sometimes are the ones that get mad. But the guys in front of me were cool with it too. And I didn't feel so bad yelling right in their ears. But there was a game near the end of the season that I was yelling, and this lady gave me the worst looks, like death stares, while I was at the game doing that. And I'm like, what do you expect? You're at a Raptors game. Like, go home and stay home if you don't want somebody yelling in your ear. Bring earplugs next time or something like that. You can be prepared for it. But man, all the love in the world, Chloe, for your grandfather, from me, once again, and like I said, he is like me. He is a Raptors freak. He is a Raptors freak. This channel is for Raptors freaks, for positive, passionate fans for this team. And your grandfather is the epitome of that energy and spirit of a Raptors freak. I can tell he loves this team so much. And I can tell he's a real fan that probably watches them all the time. I can tell it. I can feel his energy. He didn't even have to tell me. He didn't have to tell me. I feel so blessed I got to meet him. Seriously. Seriously, I feel so blessed and just so lucky to make that kind of bond and connection because listen, you know, I don't have a lot of friends in my life, in my everyday life, but I find bonds with people through the Raptors. And it's just nice to have strangers that get you, that understand you without even knowing you. And that's something like that, man. Something like that. I'm just saying. All right, Chloe, I really appreciate you being here. And I hope that he can watch me also. And anybody from the family, any support you guys have for the Raptor Freak channel or interaction with this channel, we're here every day at 9:30 talking Raptors and tempo because we're going to cover the WNBA just like we do the NBA too. That's right. Yeah, Fiercely saying, wow, there you go. I love it. I love it. Nameless is saying, I think for the Raptors to draft a center, he'd have to be generational. That could be. That could very well be. I mean, I think that it may be that we have to be the number one pick or something. It may be that we have to be a very high pick. I think that it's also like, bustability factor for centers is very high. You draft a center and there's no guarantees. First of all, centers can be more injury prone. Second of all, centers can be left behind by the speed of the NBA. They may look like they can play NBA speed in college, but they get to the NBA and they can't run the speed of the NBA. There's a lot of risk in getting centers. And the other part of it is centers take time to get right. They don't just come instantly in the league ready to play. Even Wemby, as great as he is as a number one pick and a phenom, he was not ready for the NBA in his first year and not up to speed and to contribute to make the best team for the Spurs, right? So, like, if he's a draft project as Wemby, you can imagine the risk with any of the centers that come out as far as, like, first of all, do you consider this guy's going to be able to help you fresh out the box the first year, like a Colin Murray-Boyles? No. Like, you can look at Common and you can look at what happened with him in Phoenix and his journey this year. He is not a steady contributor or a part of the rotation in a steady way for the Suns. And that's part of it. And I think that Bobby in recent years with Masai before had a strategy of drafting people that are going to help us immediately. And that's why you get Jamal Shed or Jacoby Walter or Jamison Battle or Colin Murray-Boyles, because in some ways they projected and figured out from their player type and their acumen and their attitude and their learning ability that they could help right away. And I think that they factor in Scotty's timeline. They figure in what we need to do with what we're doing right now into those decisions. And that makes drafting a center very unattractive. Does that make sense? Because, we drafted Shamshay with the prospect of him developing into a true center for us around now or in the next year. And now he's gone and it's an injury issue. And same thing with Koloko. So there's a risk with getting a center and we're finding that out. So what do? We get a long-term contract on Jakob, even though people hate it and it's a long extension. It gives us for sure a big on our team. When we have not had centers, it's hurt the team immensely, especially in the season of Tampa. And then you go and look for backup bigs like Sandro, who have a couple years under the belt. They're somewhat proven as an NBA player already, and you get them at a good price. And maybe they're ready to explode because they've already had a few years of seasoning in the league from Milwaukee and San Antonio. So I think that's the strategy with them with the center and why they don't draft centers. They could have easily drafted a center last year in the second round instead of Elijah Martin. In fact, some of us would have wished that they had drafted Maxime Renault around that time or one of the other very gifted centers that came out of this draft class, but they didn't. And they decided to go with a winner, a guy who just won the NCAA championship and has that dog factor in him and those kind of intangibles like Shed and Lowry before them. So it's an interesting reason why. And I've wondered about this too myself. I guess we're going to do 3 hours. We're going to do 3 hours. All right, let's see. Fiercey's happy about Chucky being back. It's awesome, man. Yeah, and Kaloy likes the story about me and the grandfather. Yeah, he is such a cool guy. We talked a little bit, but in some ways, there's no language to this. We're just passionate Raptors fans, and he had my back. He literally had my back. He was right there behind me. That's right. Nameless saying should probably stop using the term grandfather there, Lex. What are you talking about? He's the grandfather. His name, she just said it's her grandfather. I'm not using the grandfathered in term. Like, I get it. That's not a good term to use. It has a whole history in like the history of the United States and other things that's ugly. And yeah, I use that term in that way? Are you accusing me for something I didn't do, Nameless? Come on now. Mobo Beats is saying this. Let's see. Why is Jurassic Park so small now? It's kind of lost the vibe a bit. I know. I hate this. This is corporations ruining good things, organic, good, awesome things that they don't need to have any part in. If they could have just kept Jurassic Park the way it was, all the way down the street, that would have been ideal. Because like they limit it. In some ways, you could even make the assumption that in some ways the Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment didn't like the power of the Raptors crowd. Look, maybe they weren't getting the same crowds for Leaf games, the same passion for Leaf games, so they closed up the capacity so that it wouldn't look as impressive, but they have control over it, and they control how many people come there and control maybe selling some stuff to them while they're in there. That's probably all about it, part of it there. But you're right, Momo Beats. It's stupid. They should have had the street opened up. There should be no barricades, and they should just let people come down there naturally like it was in the beginning, because that was way more impressive when you could see the wide camera angle all the way down Bremer Boulevard to the Sky Dome, and you see people stretched all the way back to almost the Ripley's Aquarium and Rec Room area down there, looking down the street all the way to the big screen. I mean, they screwed that up, and this is just like anything. Corporations ruin everything, trust me, because they only care about this and making as much profit, so they'll shrink the shrinkflation. They'll take away quality from the product. They'll do every shortcut they can possibly to make it more economically profitable and all kinds of bullshit. So, yeah, you're going to see MLSC ruin a great thing like Jurassic Park by shrinking it down and controlling it themselves. I'd never go to Jurassic Park at this point myself, because it's not the same as when I used to go, because there was no involvement by MLSC. It was just fans on the street watching the TV screen outside the building. And it didn't matter if it was raining or what. We were out there. We were out there. That's right. That's right. Fiercey's giving me my cutoff. I need it because I'm enjoying talking to you guys today. This has been a fun stream with the trivia and catching up on everything. Alexathon in full effect. Thank you, Fiercey, for my cutoff. Kareem Thomas said Jurassic Park used to be a place where fans would go and just watch the game. Charge anybody to come in. It's free. It's just you have to go on the Raptors app and sign up with it, so they get you in that way. And then you have to be in part of the drawing. You're not guaranteed a spot. They do a draw, and you're lucky if you get the invitation to say you're lucky. You get to go to Jurassic Park, and it's free. It's actually not charged to go in there, just so you know. Let's see. Now there's you're welcome, Keith Pelly. See what the Raptors did for you. Rogers capitalized what us fans. That's not true. Totally. But it has changed. They've started calling it a tailgate this year, which I totally disagree with. This is not a tailgate. Don't bring this Buffalo Bills vernacular in there, Keith Pelly. I know you so much, and you want to tie them into the Raptors so much as you can. And you're taking the vernacular of the tailgate party outside Ralph Wilson Stadium. That's different. That's a tailgate because there's cars involved and you're in a parking lot. This is not a parking lot. This is no cars involved. So this is not a tailgate. This is not college football. This is not NFL. This is Raptors, and this is not the vibe. In fact, we're less likely to have a beer out there and more likely to have a big, fat fucking joint out there instead. It's not like that vibe in any way like that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to change the name to Jurassic Park. It's funny too, because people say, like, Adrian and I were doing the research on this question that we did for this trivia today, and there was debate about when Jurassic Park actually started. And I found the definitive answer that it did start in 2014, but the area was built in 2010. They closed the parking lot. It used to be a parking lot in that area outside Scotiabank. When I started there in 99, that's what it was. And they built the two big buildings where Real Sports Bar and Grill is, and the other building where it's just like a bank, but also got other kind of offices upstairs. And they closed and they made that area in there. But nobody came out there to go watch games in 2010 because we weren't doing anything. We were a bad team. It was the end of the Bosch era, right? And DeMar had just showed up, and we were still early and not really making the playoffs yet. It wasn't until we started making the playoffs around 2014 that people actually started coming out there. So the space was there from 2010 to 2014, but nobody had come out there organically to do that yet. So that's the kind of thing that I figured out from my research yesterday on this. That's right. And well, the people start coming out there. They didn't have a name for that area at all. And the Maple Leafs look insecure, and they had to go and slap a sign up on the side of the wall that said Maple Leaf Square, because the Maple Leafs are insecure about the Raptors' popularity and the fact that people are more passionate and care more about the Raptors than the Leafs. And then they added all those statues out there too of the great Leaf players in the middle of it also to really establish this is Maple Leaf Square. And sure, the Leafs do have outside parties out there just like the Raptors, but that was totally copying us. And is the feel or the energy of the Leafs being out there, their Leaf fans being out and doing the same thing as us, the same as us? No, it's not. It's not. It pales in comparison. You know it does, especially because they know what's going to happen with them Leafs at some point, and they're going to be leaving disappointed from being out there in the rain. That's right. Name is saying, maybe I misheard you. We'd have to go back and check the tape. Yeah. No, I was saying he's literally a grandfather. He's a grandpa. Like he was sitting behind me at the Raptors game on Sunday. That's what we're saying. Yeah. It wasn't anything to do with that term. It was more about he's literally a grandfather. That's what it was. Kaloy said, I think corporate don't want to use the term Jurassic Park now for trademark reasons. Now they call it a tailgate, which sucks ass. I think that you're exactly right, Kaloy. I think that you're exactly right on that. That may be part of the reasoning for why Keith Pelly has switched the moniker of that event for tailgate, Raptors tailgate party, which is so lame. In some ways, if Steven Spielberg or Michael Crichton has some sort of problem with us using the term Jurassic Park, I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't. In fact, I'll bet the Raptors and the Raptors motif of using Raptor and Jurassic Park has been helpful for the movies and the books that have come out that with that name too. You know, maybe in some ways the Raptors keep it fresh in people's minds because we're a perennial every year NBA team. And maybe somebody's like, what is Jurassic Park, mommy? Oh, it was a movie that came out in the 90s. You want to watch it? It's on Netflix. Oh my God, mommy, I do want to watch it because it's Jurassic Park and I love the Raptors. Yeah, we'll show you the movie. It's a little scary though. I hope you're old enough for it. I'm old enough, mommy. I just want to watch it. I didn't want to see that shit could be happening. So it's like they get more streams. And like, you know, Jurassic Park, they still putting Jurassic Park movies out every once in a while. Yeah. But in some ways, does it hurt that the Jurassic Park name is put out there over and over again by the Raptors and what they're doing? No, this is free publicity and advertising for Steven Spielberg and his movie franchise and Michael Crichton's original book, right? I don't know. In some ways, I get it, though, but they're sticklers. It's probably like, oh, Ed, you know, if we keep using the Jurassic Park term, they may come and try and steal money from us, and money's the only thing that matters to us. We can't have anybody taking our coffers. Oh my gosh, Keith, where would I be without you? If I didn't have you giving me warnings on things like this, I'd probably lose money out my butthole every day. Oh my God, I love you, Ed. Can I kiss you? Get the fuck away from me, Keith Pelly. Shit like that. It's probably shit like that right there, man. That's right. Reggie's saying, we all know it's a Raptors Blue Jays city now. Yeah. I mean, listen, Leafs. Your captain is a fucking traitor. He's a piece of shit that went to the White House. And no wonder nobody want to pick him up off the ground when somebody hit him down, because he's a fucking traitor and a piece of shit. And honestly, I've heard Austin Matthews talk about how he doesn't think his future is here in Toronto. Well, good. Get your fucking ass out of here, you sorry ass American motherfucker. Yeah, that's what I say to that right there. So, yeah, you know, William Nylander, you're cool, man. You're all right. You know, there's some guys on the Leafs team that I like, but yeah, Austin Matthews can go fuck off and he could take off right now. And I don't think many Leaf fans would be upset with me for saying that. In some ways, he's been fool's gold for their team. Some of them are pissed at him because they're like, wow, you can do this for USA against Canada, but you can't do this for the Leafs in Toronto? Yeah, that's valid right there. Austin Matthews can go and get goals for Team USA in this bullshit and go say hi to Trump and eat some McDonald's with his sorry ass in the White House, but he can't make goals for the Leafs. So maybe the Leafs should be like, yeah, hasta la vista, Austin Matthews. You can go play for the Phoenix Coyotes and go home, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they should do that shit. I don't talk Leafs very often, but I'll go ahead and make that little rant right there. That's right. Look at Fiercey. She got Brontosaurus. I've seen the Raptor one, but I didn't know we had Brontosaurus too. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying, haha, Kramer imitation. Haha. Was that Kramer that I did? No, I was doing Keith Pelly with Ed Rogers. That's what I was doing right there. Butthole face. All right, butthole face. All right, where's my classic card? Where's my classic card? Let's do this. We got to get on the runway out of here because I am going overtime here. Oh, wow. This is such a oh my gosh. This card's all rife with problems. This card is rife with all kinds of problems. Y'all are about to see it. Talking about turncoats and running Austin Matthews out of town. Here we go. Here's the classic card of the day. He's wearing a Celtics jersey, but it's a Kings card, and it says everything you need to know about this particular player. That's right. It says everything you need to know about this particular player, that he is on a Kings card, but he's in a Celtics jersey. He is somebody who has been all over. That's right. That's right. That's right. Tristan Thompson. That's right. You didn't even give him the P in his name. You're so disrespectful. Tristan Thompson. Thompson. You want to fix it? You know, I don't know. I want to be a stickler. Is Adriana still here? Can we get a ruling here? Is it going to be girl power here, Adriana? Are we going to give this? Because she, in some ways, she knows Tristan Thompson because of his work with supporting Epilepsy Toronto. But give it to Kareem? Give it to Kareem? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Girl power saying girl power to him. Yeah. Adriana's saying yes. We're going to give it to Kareem. It doesn't matter that he did not put the P in the last name. It'll go ahead and get it. Split it. No, we're going to do it this way. The ladies have determined that they have the power. They're making the determination. They're giving you the points. But this card is not going to be worth that much because honestly, we know this turncoat. We know this turncoat. We're not proud of him. So why would we make his card worth that much? So we're going to go ahead and put Tristan Thompson in, and it's going to be a 50-point card because he's not worth it. That's right. He's not worth it. It's more a thing. Is not only is he's easily recognizable, but he's also not worth it. So we'll give 50 points to Kareem on the classic card today, which is Tristan Thompson. Yeah, he did play on the Celtics. He did play on the Celtics for a little bit. He played on all the teams we hated. He played on all the teams we hated. Oh my gosh, he did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Split it. Let's see. Smooth saying your imitation of the child sounded like Kramer in Seinfeld. Really? Oh, is that part where I was doing about the Jurassic Park, watching Jurassic Park? You thought that he sounded like Kramer, the kid? That's funny, man. I like Michael Richards. Other than his dumbass, like little N-word rant at that comedy show that one time, he is a comedic genius, honestly. I know he made a mistake and he's an idiot. And in some ways, he is an asshole probably in real life. But man, Michael Richards in the 80s, forget about Kramer on Seinfeld. In the movies he did as a comedic slapstick actor, UHF, Transylvania 65000. Because he was that kind of weird, like, whoa, is this thing on? Oh, hello. That's Michael Richards right there. Like in UHF, he plays Stanley Spadowski, the janitor for Weird Al's UHF TV station. Yeah, and he was also a weird butler on Transylvania 65000 with Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum and Ed Begley Jr. Yeah, Lex has got his 80s trivia movies trivia down. That's right. That's right. That's right. Kaloy said, man, I remember when they played Seinfeld 4 times a day on TV. They probably do still do that in some places. It seems like it's still on sometimes, but it is so dated at this point. It really is very, very dated. All right, let me see. I did my birthdays. Y'all check on your fantasy teams for the WNBA. Not yet. It's coming up. It's going to be very soon that we're going to have to do something about that. We'll be excited to see the tempo play tomorrow. All right, let's get out of here. We finished up. All right, I appreciate everybody playing some Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia with me today. Thank you once again to Commissioner Adriana for helping me produce the questions and being the commissioner of the game and judging it. She did a fantastic job. She's definitely going to get to help me do trivias in the future because she worked really well with me. And well, that's not a surprise. She's been working really well with me for a long, long time. So yeah, also WNBA Media Day, fantastic yesterday. Really great to hear the voices of the players and kind of their personalities and kind of get a feel for what it seems like is going to be a fantastic year with a lot of fun. And it was just kind of cool to see the different women get up there and kind of talk about what's exciting about being a part of something so fresh and so new and falling in love with the city of Toronto and the country of Canada and navigating their way through the differences and learning life up here. It seems like they're all very, very happy. And it's just a really cool, exciting thing to be doing. You know, it's a very, very cool thing. So I enjoyed that. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. I appreciate everybody for watching. 2-for-1 pizza. Let's go. And I'll be back tomorrow to preview Game 5 in Cleveland. Toronto Raptors at Cleveland Cavaliers, Game 5 of the first round. I'll have the latest lineup news. I'll have the ref report. I'll have all the pertinent information to set you guys up for the game tomorrow night. And also, we will be celebrating because it will be the first ever Toronto Tempo preseason game where the Toronto Tempo players will take the court at Coca-Cola Coliseum tomorrow night in a game against the Connecticut Sun. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. And well, it's double duty if you're going to watch both of the games. I know some of y'all will not probably watch the WNBA game, solely focus on the Raptors. That's totally understandable. But this guy is going to be trying to watch both of them at the same time. And wish me luck. It may be very difficult to try and do. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I appreciate everybody. So much love to my good friend, the grandfather that sat behind me on Sunday. Once again, your family is amazing. You guys are true Raptors passionate fans. And I just feel so happy to be included in a great community with you guys. And we are going to win this series. That's right. Defense. Defense. I hope they can hear me all the way in Cleveland. That's right. All right, y'all. Raptors Freak out. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. And once again, be kind to each other. Raptorize your day. Do the right thing. Don't follow God money. Follow your heart and follow humanity. And don't be like all the people selling out our own and our people and our society and everybody by going after profits and just caring about your damn self and your bullshit. Yeah, if you're like that and you're on the dark side and you worship God money, like people like Ed Rogers and Loblaws and Donald Trump, man, you're on the wrong side of the energy in this world, and the creator is frowning on you. And I'm sorry. You hoard wealth and you give it only to yourself and yours, and you make other people starve to death because of it. Yeah, you get that straight ticket to hell, is what you're going to get, oligarchs and billionaires that are so fucking selfish. You will get what you get eventually. Trust me. Yeah, Trump already said he knows he's going to hell. You're damn right you are, motherfucker. That's what I say to end this show. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors. I hope y'all learned something about the Raptors crowd today. Jurassic Park, baby. Let's go.